to really just keep people in place. This turret looking like it's going to go down here as the damage from this Kestrel is unbearable at this point, and they go for the kill. Oh, good afterburn, complete destruction. That's going to be Paul Monroe picking up the kill, and Stefano to back down to the base.
And that's exactly what we were talking about earlier. They knew that the Bright Bulwark was on cooldown, and that was just the sign for Pokechips to find an opportunity. Got a beautiful afterburn in, got the angle onto Safantu, knocked him under the turret, and just like that, Waves can look to turn this around, trying to take this gold miner.
Yep, and it is going to be contested, but it won't be stolen away. One shot almost tags Paul Monroe back to base, but will survive. Will look to try and pick up the healing camp, go around with Pokechips so that he doesn't have to go back. And but he has 2,000 gold, so perhaps going back is not the worst idea. I'd be interested to see if he's just doing it for the experience, because he needs to finish off his next item. With 2,000 gold in the bank, you really don't want to be sitting on that much.
I have a feeling they're going to be looking to just push this wave back now that the turret just fell, and then just rotate down to the shop. Looks like, actually, nope, he's going to go ahead and do the full recall. So either way, just getting that, like you said, extra experience, extra gold, comes back out now with an alternating current completed because of those rotations through the back. So ends up being a very smart decision for the team to make. However, they did lose out on their turret, so now you can see Memento Mori looking to play a little bit more aggressive, a little bit further up in the lane.
And we saw this yesterday from Queso, a very position-oriented team, as the one-shot tags Paul Monroe right back down again. Has the Book of Eulogies, so we'll be looking to try and get healing by last hitting these waves. But it does mean that for now, waves are trying to find engages. Just hearing from Scoundrel, unfortunately, we've lost the spectator client. It's starting to bug out a little bit. This is something that's unfortunately out of our control. Last night, we had to switch over to the iPad, so we'll update you to know whether or not that's going to be the case. But just want to apologize real quickly for the fact that we have, I think, just lost visual in the game. We'll try and keep you updated with a radio cast, though, Tasty.
Yeah, it's going.
Tasty mutes his microphone as he speaks, so losing everyone at this point. One shot gonna fly out. Looks like a fight's breaking out. It's a New Day goes very low on Memento Mori. Waves just holding it together. They want to find an engage. They have Gauntlet available on this Arden. If they can find Stefan or Kieran out of position, they're going to go for it. Siska lining up on the other side of the wall. He's not spotted, and they just want to try and find a key target. But they need to pull the trigger is the question. Big Chakram rips through Stefan 2, and they're looking like they're going to move in now as Memento Mori pushing up towards the lane, but they really need to heal up. They have to be so careful against this Glaive and this Arden, and they're going to start moving towards the shop, it seems, Memento Mori.
Yeah, going to be able to buy a lot more vision. Looks like we are back, so that's the good news. There's going to be a clockwork completed for Savantu. So this is going to drastically reduce cooldowns, this glimmer shots, and of course the one-shot, one-kill is going to be coming out incredibly quickly now with that item completed. Not only that, but of course clockwork also giving a % increase to your crystal power. So assuming Savantu does go for this 4, possibly even 5 offensive item Kestrel build that we've seen a couple people use, it's going to just be massive damage.
Yeah, certainly is. Cannot afford to be caught. That is the key of it. You can see the crucible from It's a New Day will be so crucial in making sure that no one gets caught in the Gauntlet's wars. I'm gonna have to be quick fingers though, for sure. As Waves really just need to pull a trigger. That is all they're waiting for, is an afterburn onto a key target. Gonna be It's a New Day taking a bit of poke, but Pokechips, it seems like he has eyes for only one person, and it's Stefan 2 at the moment.
And I'm not sure if that's the best of ideas. Again, you can go for Kieran, you can go for It's a New Day if you have the opportunity presented to you. And I feel like they are just kind of waiting for a few more items. I mean, now Paul Monroe is at that 3-item power spike that you were referencing earlier. So his Crystal Idris is going to start really hurting. And Pokechips also just finished off the Sorrow Blade. So this is a point where they have a lot of damage. I feel like they're just a little bit worried that they're going to be out damaged by Memento Mori if they don't get this perfect engage. But more often than not, you are not going to have the opportunity to wait for that perfect engagement. You need to just pull the trigger when you see any sort of chance. And they just have not been doing so. Instead, they eat so much damage, almost 3/4 of Paul Monroe's health taken down from a one-shot, one-kill that just snuck by.
Yeah, and he's not got any shielding, any defense at all on this Idris at the moment. A CP infuse in his pocket, which is taking up that slot that could be purchased for defense. Be interested to see if he goes towards the Shatter Glass as his final item here. Perhaps even Harvest if he feels he needs to sustain. We'll have to find out as this game does progress, but Poro is starting to hit a point where the Broken Myth, the Chakrams can really start stacking up, but it is all about this burst. It is all about Pokechips just landing a Afterburn onto Kian or onto Stefantu, and from that point they should be able to blow someone up, but if Paul Monroe keeps eating one-shots after each other, then it's going to be pretty difficult for Waves to feel comfortable going for an engage.
Yeah, like you said, thankfully we'll be able to heal up thanks to holding onto the Book of Eulogies, but at some point they're going to have to look for this fight. Otherwise, I mean, Safantu's going to be more than happy to just keep throwing out these one-shots. It's on such a low cooldown, and if all of them keep hitting Paul Monroe, I'm not sure how they're all hitting Paul Monroe. It's pretty impressive that it's specifically the Idris that's getting tagged by them constantly, but there's going to be one finally hitting onto someone else. But even onto Pokechips, it still does a ton of damage.
Yeah, and he has some shielding on his person a little bit. I wonder what the communication uh, situation is here for Waves. Obviously, a team consisting of European players from all around the shop. Wonder if they are on voice comms. It's always an interesting talking point for European teams, but we haven't seen a gauntlet yet from Siska. Now fighting around here. Oh, Paul Monroe gets tagged. It looks like Memento Mori are going to start charging him. They've got split here. Fountain's going to fly out. Wait for it goes out as well. Pokechips uses the disengage with the afterburn. He's going to try and secure the Treant, but it's not going to happen. Stefantu looking for a snipe. Glimmer shot connects. It will be Paul Monroe just about escaping.
All right, well, that's going to be an opportunity for a gold miner to Memento Mori. They're going to try and steal this on the side of Waves. It doesn't look like it. They're going to back off. But that's the thing. Memento Mori, like, they've only gotten the one kill, sure, but they don't need the kills as another one-shot finds them. It's Mark. But they're able to get the members of Waves so low before these engagements even happen that Waves just isn't able to be involved in these fights. And so Memento Mori just consistently take a little bit more every single time they do this.
Yeah, and this is kind of similar to the composition we saw from Queso, like I mentioned earlier, which is this massive range advantage that is just holding back its opponents as hardly as possible. The only difference is that because the Kestrel is CP rather than weapon power, the one-shots are really detrimental if they land onto a target, which they have consistently been doing. Stefantu has been consistently finding a target with these one-shot. It's really meant that Waves has never had a very easy opportunity finding a window of engage, but I feel like it's all on Sisiska to just jump in at this point and try and gauntlet down this Kestrel or this Vox to make Pokechips' life a little bit easier.
I mean, every 20 or so seconds, there's a one-shot, one-kill that can be thrown out, and the vast majority of them have been connecting onto one of these three targets. And just even that one that hit onto Sasiska, it was almost a quarter of his health. That's the tankiest member of the team, losing almost a quarter of his health from these one-shots without any broken myth stacks on the Kestrel. So there goes another one. That one's not going to connect. Maybe an opportunity here for Waves. They know it's on a short cooldown, but if you can take advantage, oh, they caught. It's a new day.
It's a new day. Will escape. The arcane passage does go out. Fine for now. Stefantu spots up everyone exiting towards the Tribush. And as this game goes onwards, despite the fact that Memento Mori has played fairly dominantly and has the 4,000 gold lead, I actually feel like Waves get into a better and better position because it just becomes so much riskier having a CP Kestrel on your team who is just so vulnerable to being caught. I say this, it is still reliant on Waves actually going for an engage.
Yeah, Waves has been just playing incredibly passive, incredibly defensively. As you can see, Sasiska calling for the team to stick together. As I mean, it's the right idea for Waves to try and just get themselves into this point where they can just catch one of these targets, but Memento Mori has been playing together as a group quite well and not offering many opportunities for anyone to be caught out. The only person who's, been at risk of getting caught out is It's a New Day, but on the Lyra, are you ever really at risk of being caught out? Because you can always just have that portal to jump yourself to the safety of your team.
Oh, here we go. Kiernan was
Oh,
the
beautiful.
target, but as you mentioned, a beautiful bright bulwark does just stop that one in its tracks. Paul Marone gets tagged by another one shot and just gets chunked right down. Does have an even harvest, so we'll be able to sustain this a little bit quicker, but is actually going to be forced to go back and heal up on the healing platform. Now Waves a 2 versus 1, and Memento Mori pushing aggressively into the jungle here to try and find themselves an advantage as far as HP bars are concerned. Paul Marone all by himself is going to run into the middle of a fight. That's going to be Gauntlet Wars going down. Paul Marone pops his ultimate. He's in trouble, and Kiernan's going to find the kill. Can Waves escape? This is the question, as Sasiska is being targeted down by these glimmer shots. Oh, Stefan 2, a backwards one shot will save Sasiska's life, but it does look like Memento Mori are going to take the Kraken nonetheless.
Yeah, Memento Mori has the vision in the tri-brush so that they will see if anyone from Waves is coming to try and contest, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Kraken will be going over, and Memento Mori going to look for further advantages. With this Kraken pushing down the lane, they should be able to easily get at least one turret. I mean, this Kestrel is going to do so much damage to these objectives with those glimmer shots. And obviously, again, Kieran has been just farming up this entire time. This Vox sitting on his 3 offensive items and is building up quite a bit of defense for himself as well, just so that he can't get focused down. So Memento Mori looking to make something happen here.
They have to really go for a fight here if they want to survive here, Waves. As you mentioned, the glimmer shots just tear through the turrets, through the objectives, and the Kraken is obviously going to do a huge amount for the team as well. That's Paul Monroe, half HP. Not a position he wants to be. They need to fight, they need to engage, and it needs to be a gauntlet to catch up this Kestrel or Pokechips to find his inner strength. And after burn out of position, this choke point turret is going to lose its life. Paul Monroe doing his best to try and take down this Kraken with the Chakram and the auto attacks. They will destroy it, but not before their base has been breached.
2 turrets taken with that Kraken push. Memento Mori's got to be happy with that. They're going to be retreating now back through the jungle. And again, this is just very objective-focused play, being done quite well from Memento Mori, able to find these opportunities to push up and take these objectives and just keeping Waves on the back foot. This gold lead has grown up now to actually it's kind of diminished, surprisingly. I thought it had actually grown a little bit, but it's sitting at about 3,000 to almost 4,000 when it was clearly at 4,000 before. Now another beautiful bulwark.
Yeah, Bulwark stops the engage. It's a new day, goes low. Oh, Stefantu's in trouble. Paul Monroe's going to find the kill. It's going to be Waves starting to open up as Kieran's going to try and separate, but the Gauntlet's going to stop up. Oh, Paul Monroe jumps the wrong direction, and that will be him going down. Gauntlet had him saved, and he didn't quite trust Sasiska. Now Sasiska will lose his life as well. Waves, they find a opportunity for a fight. They do get a kill for it, but they just didn't have the execution to carry through.
Yeah, they were able to take out Safantu because Paul Monroe got Safantu isolated on the side of the fight. Kieran was going all in onto Pokechips, but like you said, ends up being a 2-for-1 at the end of the day in favor of Memento Mori. And so they're going to be quite all right with that outcome, especially because, I mean, normally in a situation like this where a team is behind and they get a kill like that, you say, okay, well, they're going to get some good shutdown gold. There hadn't really been any kills from Memento Mori leading up to this, so there was no shutdown gold to be had either for the side of Waves. So even though they were able to find that kill, didn't really benefit them much at all.
Yeah, and this has kind of been the story of this game, is that yes, it's low kills, yes, it's 6 kills in 21.5 minutes. Memento Mori, though, haven't really needed the kills to get any advantages. It's just so much range, so much poke, and Stefantu just consistently landing his damage with these one-shots. And kind of Waves just playing so passively, too passively. As Paul Monroe split from the team, it means that Sasiska can't look for an engage, can't look in, and with this one-shot just about to respawn, they could even look to one-shot someone as this Kraken starts going down. Paul Monroe is going to look like he's going to peek the Kraken. Sasiska is there. They're going to have to fight around this Kraken. This could be an opportunity for Waves to finally pull the trigger and go for something, but one-shot's going to fly out. It's just going to tag Sasiska right down. Now it's going to be Paul Monroe in trouble as he starts throwing chakrams out. Gauntlet Wars will go down. It's a New Day will dodge it with the passage, and Memento Mori just going to reset the fight.
I'm kind of surprised that getting Sasiska that low was not a signal for Memento Mori to go all in on this fight. They're going to tag the Kraken once again. Do they actually want to go for this? I'm kind of surprised they're not committing to it a bit more, knowing that everyone from the side of Waves did recall, but looks like they want to just go back, clear out their jungle, get a little bit more gold, though I'm not really quite sure if this is the right decision for Memento Mori. I think they're maybe taking things a little too slow at this stage. Like I said, they had an opportunity to go in on something. Sasiska was at less than a quarter health, and they still just backed off and played it safe. Stefantu looks like he's going to be going for just more pierce with these extra piercing spears.
And this is actually a very effective build. It's something that's been popularized over, I think, in SEA, that double piercing shards, broken myth, ends up being more effective than double shattered glass when there is shielding. It's something SEA really likes building. But this one shot's going to come through, and you just see it tag through the tankiest member down to half HP. It's really working out for Stefantu. I'm loving the glimmer shots, just destroying the opposition right now. They're going to take this Crystal Sentry away. It's going to be a full port back by Waves, and this should be the Kraken started up. Will they be able to take it is the question. It's going down. Sasiska's going to try and get his team to the Kraken as quickly as possible. No, I think it's gone before they arrive.
Yeah, Stefantu just waiting for those glimmer shots to come back up, and when they're available, it just melts Kraken. Here we go.
Stefantu. This is good. Okay, Waves, they find one kill. Gauntlet will clock down Kin, and it's going to be him falling, I believe. The Fountain might be able to keep him alive. Paul Monroe jumps the wrong way. Something else that when you play CP Idris and you use your Shimmer Strike, your ultimate, and you're on the CP path, you actually jump further away than if you're on the weapon power path. So you have to be really careful about the directions you jump. But finally, some aggression from Waves finding a kill.
Yeah, getting the kill onto Stefantu was absolutely huge there. They're going to be able to take down this Kraken before it even gets to their turret. So that's just an extra 500 gold each for the members of Waves. But we are getting pretty late into this game. We're starting to approach the point where gold doesn't even matter. There are still a couple of items that can be purchased for Pokechips and Sasiska, but Paul Monroe is pretty much sitting on full build right now. The only thing left to upgrade is the boots there. So both of these teams are getting very, very wealthy, and we're going to start seeing once you are at this point. Oh, never mind. Hold on.
Looking for the fight. It's one-shot tagging Paul Monroe down. Did have the shield on him. They're going to re-engage. Kieran's in trouble. He should go down. Fountain keeps him alive. Paul Monroe tanking it up. He's going to jump towards Kieran, but he's just put himself on the wrong side of the team fight. Can he get Kieran? No, he cannot. Pokechips trying to find the kill, and he will be able to, but can Pokechips survive? This is the question. No, he is dead, and Sasiska is just going to be forced to run away and attempt to survive as not to give the ace buff over. But look at the movement speed that just comes out. He has the gauntlet. He's going to have to use this, I think, if he wants to escape. It's going to be Passage going out into an active camera trap. No, he just escapes with the Passage, and now will he be able to escape over the wall with the gauntlet? Or is he just going to hold on to it down to very low? Sasiska, where are you going, my friend? And that's going to be him going home the quick route.
Or the slow route. It's going to take him about 55 seconds to get back home as his body stays out on the fold. But this is a big opportunity now for Memento Mori. They still have 15 seconds before Paul Monroe is up, and they want to try and just take this turret. You can see the glimmer shots are able to chunk through the barrier on the turret, but not quite quick enough for their liking. And so even with the ace buff minions, they will just be backing off from this one. Memento Mori, again, playing extremely cautiously. One shot will add a little bit more damage to that turret, getting it very, very low. But they just are not willing to fully commit to these fights unless they start off with a massive advantage.
Yeah, I believe that it has to be a catch on to Stefantu realistically if they want to win the fight. Yes, Kieran is a good target, but Stefantu is clearly the man who's just ripping through the health bars right now. And Waves are very timid in their approach to fights. They aren't succinct. They aren't quick to the trigger. In fact, they might be in a bit of trouble here as everyone's grouped up. Siska's looking to try and get forward, but he does get tagged in the active camo despite the reflex block. One shot flies out. Paul Monroe, if he stepped half a step further, he would have died. The active camo triggering with that one shot. But now, once more, Waves in a position where Kraken has spawned, everyone's low, and the Kraken is surely going to be started up by Mori.
They eliminate the sentries, so that's going to make things even more risky for the side of Waves. Memento Mori looking for their third Kraken. Pokechips is here. He has no idea how close he was just getting blown up, but that's going to be a one-shot.
Yep, one shot does go out. Pokechips in trouble, but the gauntlet flies out. It doesn't hit anyone, and that's going to be Pokechips losing his life. Fountain not quick enough. Stefantu trying to find the overcomer shots onto this Idris, but it's going to be Kieran finding the kill. Kieran walks into Sisisko and will lose his life. Oh, that's going to be Stefantu losing his life as well. Unfortunate for Memento Mori as they just went so low and the Kraken decided to have its way. Pretty much a nothing exchange here as it's just the captains left alive.
Well, this will be an opportunity for Sasiska to check for vision, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Throwing out these flares, just making sure if there is any scout traps around, he's going to be popping them. And this is where things start to get very risky for Memento Mori. If they don't have the vision, they don't know where it's going to be safe for this Kestrel to go invisible, or if they'll have the opportunities. So that was actually, even though it ended up being a 2-for-2, advantage to the side of Waves for being able to clear out this vision and set up some of their own. But now it's a new day. It's going to be looking to do a very similar task here, just finding these scout traps and popping them.
Because of the way that fight actually played out, there is a potential to take over the middle of the map for Waves here. Doesn't look like they are going to do it. The reason I say this is that the timings on the respawns, Paul Monroe and Pokechips died first in the team fight, and then Kieran and Stefantu died after the team fight. So there was about maybe 5 seconds that Waves could have pushed up into the map, and actually you see it. They have pushed up. They're starting to clear up this vision, and Memento Mori are giving them a little bit of respect here. One shot connects onto Sisiska. Thankfully, the tankier of the 3 does mean Waves are still in a position to fight if they want to. Charging forward, Bright Bullet goes down, but now they can look for the engage. They just need to find the key target. Need to avoid these active camos that Stefantu has placed down. Chakram tears through Stefanu's health bar, but once more it's going to be Siska holding back, not looking for a gauntlet.
And the healing coming out of Lyra from those sigils is able to keep the team topped off even after eating these chakrams. Nice dodge of that one there, but it's like Memento Mori wants to try and push forward. The Treant will go over to Paul Monroe. He's able to deny that from the Kestrel, but at this point, like, one of these teams is going to have to pull the trigger. We are getting so late in this game. 30 minutes in, here we go.
Yeah, it's going to be the gauntlet flying on in. It's going to be stuns coming out, but everyone walks away with the Crucible. Stefantu has just walked completely out of there, and Paul Monroe, he needs to find a new target. Damage has been dealt, but with the Lyra, it can just be healed all the way back up again. One shot flies out, lands onto Sisiska. Paul Monroe going to face tank New Day right here. In fact, finds a lot of damage onto New Day, up to a couple of Broken Myth stacks, but they will start to drop on down. Waves really attempting to hold strong towards the middle of the map here, but they are going to decide to port back with Stefantu as well and reset the playing ground.
All right, so we will continue 31 minutes into this game, Dowsy, and we are sitting on 15 kills combined. That's just how passive and how much of an objective-focused game this has been. And that last team fight, I mean, you were questioning earlier, what's the communication like for Waves? And I think that definitely is something that has to be revisited, because Sasiska went in with that gauntlet, landed it beautifully, but the rest of the team was not there to follow up until it was too late. So definitely a little bit of maybe miscommunication, but now we got another fight.
Yeah, it's going to be Kieran going very low. Active camo. Ooh, they're not going to step into it. Just about dodges out. Lots of damage. Kieran's stunned. This should be him falling. No, he's able to walk away with a sigil over the wall from It's a New Day. Once more, Memento Mori just holding on very tightly to their HP, to their lives. And he's going to be Palmer and backing. It seems like at times like this, when you have a glaive, when you have a CP address, you just need to start the Kraken up and force it. But we are going to continue this tiptoe over the eggshells, Tasty.
Yeah, that's exactly what we got. Safantu has finished off that second broken myth now. And the upgrading it from the piercing spear does give a little bit, but oh, maybe finding someone. Nope, it's going to be backing off.
Monroe does do a lot of damage, you can see with the chakrams. But he also takes a lot in the process. Has an Aegis, does provide some shielding, but like we mentioned, this massive piercing build from Stefantu, really strong against shield, basically negates it. It's the idea of it. The broken myths don't stack, but you build the broken myth for the extra damage it provides. You've already got the piercing shard for
50
the
extra
pierce as
CP
well.
and 2 extra pierce by upgrading to the broken myth after the first one. So
Yep.
it is still worthwhile, but
It's the CP that's even more important in that test.
Yeah.
Is because when you have the piercing shard, it is just a slot that is doing nothing but providing pierce. Ooh, Stefantu caught. Where's the follow-up?
There's the follow-up indeed. It's been kind of the story of this game, but here we go. Maybe Memento Mori looking to go aggressive? Nope, they're going to play the safe still too. At some point, one of these teams has to go all in. Like, the game will not end unless one of these teams decides to just fully pull the trigger and commit to a fight.
Look, it's like we're watching a football game, a soccer game, Tasty, and both teams are just passing the ball back to each other instead of taking shots at the goal. That's what it feels like, at least to me.
Well, if we we're going to be approaching halftime pretty soon.
True that. Pomeroy, he's going for the shot! Will he score? Oh no, he does not! It's going to be the fountain, keeping him alive. Pokey Chips just about escapes, but the one shot four will not find it. Can't bend it like
Go
Beck.
Kraken! Go Kraken right now! No.
They need to. They need to start it. You're right.
They're waiting too long. They've waited too long. They're not going to be able to start it now.
Siska may be caught here. There's no crystal sentry to keep him alive. Yet he is caught. He is dead. Memento Mori find a kill. Pokey Chips flying on in. Knocks this box back. Poor Moreau taking so much damage over the wall from the Glimmer shots. One shot for 639 HP. And Paul Monroe, he is just dicing through the HP bars with the chakrams. Will it be enough, though, to keep his team in net? Looks like Memento Mori are going to fall back. Take this Kraken.
All right, will the fourth Kraken be the charm? 35 minutes into this game, Memento Mori were able to catch Sasiska, who was trying to check and see if they were doing the Kraken. Here comes
They need
Paul
to go
Monroe.
in. Oh, the active camo. They stepped into it. Pokey Chips. Oh, this is destruction. That's going to be a kill going on over. That's going to be Stefantu. Very happy. Kieran, 1v1s down the glaive. Gets the ace buff just before Sasiska respawns. 50 seconds.
60-second death timers.
Don't go to the shop. Screw the weapon power infusion. Let's just finish the game, my friends. Let's get this one done and dusted.
But there's someone up to defend. You'll have to play safe and be careful. So, well, Memento Mori should just be able to finish this one off at this point.
Does look like they are going to shoot and score the free kick, the penalty in the box. And the goalkeeper just wasn't quite able to stretch far enough. GG, well played to Memento Mori as they take game one of this series, Tasty Bacon.
36 minutes just about for game number one of this matchup. I mean, it started off, it was such a clean and well-played game. And then we got to about 20 minutes in, and both teams just completely stopped caring about objectives, and well, they cared about only one objective.
Yeah,
and that
no,
was the Kraken.
The Krakens, right? How many Krakens were there? It was like 4 Krakens.
That was the fourth Kraken that got secured.
Yeah, pretty insane game from both these teams. Scoundrel, I don't know how your fingers are feeling after spectating a 36-minute game, but I think we need to see Sisiska just try and gauntlet people more consistently.
I think according to chat, I didn't spectate the game. T-Tours the
T-Tours!
whole thing. T-Tours the whole thing. Yeah, that was a really, really interesting game. Interesting in the sense that it felt like the classic MOBA games that I've always been used to. It felt like games of literally just like grinding out, finding the perfect opportunity, lack of aggression, and you can tell when you've got a CP Idris and you've got a and you've got a CP Kestrel, there is that long range poke war that you often have to get involved in, and those one shot one kills were basically. I think they were almost deciding fights before they even happened. So they consistently hit Idris with the one shot one kill, and the result of that was that waves would just back off and then you wouldn't get a fight. But then they'd get back in time to contest things like Kraken, and then you just have it rinse and repeat over and over again. I can't count the amount of times that waves were forced back because Idris ate a one-shot one kill and that decided the fight, and then suddenly they reset and it happened all over again. That happened for like the last 10 minutes of the game. It was just that and over and over.
It certainly was. And it's very frustrating to watch as a spectator, as a caster as well at Scoundrel, because it should have been Memento Mori. They were in a position really where they had full control of the game. They either need to push, take the Kraken, take an objective, or you know, I don't know, but they just need to take the Kraken. I think that the amount of times that they started up the Kraken and Memento Mori would get close and just dive into an active camera and die, like there was just so many ways you prevent that from happening.
Absolutely. I'm just getting the teams ready. We obviously had to restart the spectator client, which did mean, unfortunately, I've got to reset the lobby up. So we're just getting the teams ready and raring to go for that. But again, Memento Mori currently 1-0 up. They are the 10th seed in this tournament. Waves the 7th, I believe. So, it's a bit of a minor upset, but these guys are very, very, very closely seeded right now, Darcy.
And you know what? I'm just going to quickly jump on VG Pro. We are playing on live servers, of course, for Challenger Series, which means that we can pull up statistics like damage dealt, stuff like that. Because I'd be very interested in a 36-minute game, what kind of damage is being output, and if it is just Stefan head and shoulders above people, or whether or not this CP address was able to output the damage that it is fabled to do. But whilst I look that up, we can jump into the draft and see where these guys go next.
Absolutely. We're jumping into the draft here. Second game between Memento Mori and Waves. Memento Mori now on A side. They'll have first ban and first pick.
All right, so this is what I expected to see. Paul Monroe on his CP address did 53,000 damage compared to the 65 damage from Stefan and the 40,000 damage from Kieran. But what didn't happen was any damage on this glaive. 15,000, less than 2.5 times his opponent, which I guess you would say was Kieran.
I mean, Lyra was only 1,000 damage behind the glaive.
Right.
I think you guys have to look at. You guys have to realize what weapon power glaive is designed to do. No,
the point is that he didn't do that. He was never jumping into the fight, Scoundrel. He was attempting to fight. So that's what I'm trying to highlight, is the fact that yes, he's a burst hero, so we would have had low damage anyway comparatively, but that is captain level damage. And then you look at 6.2 on Sisiska in a 36-minute game. That should have been up at the same as Poke Chips. Yeah. There was no aggression out of Waves, and they needed
I think Waves were in a difficult position. So Weapon Power Glaive has two options, right? He snowballs the early game, consistently looks for fights and stops the enemy getting to the late game. Well, that failed. You're going up against a Lyra, a Kestrel, and a Vox. Lyra very good at shutting down a glaive. Vox very hard to lock down with afterburn sometimes, and active camo makes it hard to lock down the Kestrel
as well. At the same time, though, there is a draft going on that is almost finished.
Yeah, I know. We can talk about it. We can talk about it in a second. So I think it was tough. I think for that time round for Poke Chips to actually get his job done. I agree, maybe damage should have been more, they should have pulled the trigger more effectively, but again, they felt that they were behind from the early game, and sometimes when you're playing Weapon Power Glaive from behind, it doesn't feel like you can actually have an impact. But yeah, draft is done, and now I'm going to leave my two wonderful commentators to talk about it, while I just fade into the background and pretend I never said anything.
Sure, we're going to see a Pretty more, I think, a easier composition to execute here. Tasty Bacon perhaps from Waves, CP Blackfeather in the jungle for Poke Chips, and Vox going to be in the lane for Paul Monroe with Sasiska on this Catherine. Over on the other side of the Halcyon Fold, it is Kieran on Ringo. This Glaive going to be on Stefanu, going to be bringing it to the lane, and it's Anune sticking to the Lyra. Now, I guess the question is whether it will be a CP Vox or a Weapon Power, a CP Ringo or a weapon power Ringo, but with the 2 weapon power bits, I think it's pretty certain that it is going to be standard weapon power Ringo and standard CP Glaive.
Yeah, and I like both of these compositions a little bit better because it will be much more difficult to just have this sort of poke war for 35 minutes that we saw in game number 1. Both of these teams are a little bit more all-in focused, so it should be a little bit more action, a little bit more actual team fighting going on as we get into the mid game. I also am glad to see Sasiska on the Catherine here because, while yes, the Arden that he had didn't have much damage at all, towards the end of the game, there were some really, really good gauntlets from Sasiska that just had no follow-up from the rest of the team. And so again, we have to wonder: is it communication between the team, or just what happened there? But with a Catherine, it's much easier to have the rest of your team engage at the same time as you.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's pretty telegraphed that you're going to stun someone. Lane Kieran almost goes down, goes very low, pops the potion. We'll get this heal from It's a New Day. Paul Monroe, fairly good Vox. Can attest to that personally. Got a little bit wrecked by him earlier with Scoundrel in solo queue. And I think it's a hero that would be a little bit more comfortable on. Vox, clearly something like that people have played for a very long time, mastered for a very long time, Tasty, whereas Idris has been kind of only just recently starting to hit the hands of some of these carries.
So, with the pressure onto the Ringo early on, again, Ringo is one of those heroes that we haven't really seen too much of in this most recent patch or two. The updates just haven't really been super kind to him, and whereas a lot of the other carries have gotten a little bit of love, so Ringo's kind of fallen off a bit. But obviously Kieran wants to make it work here. It's still a very strong pick, still a very straightforward, not a whole lot of complication to playing a weapon Ringo. It's just that a lot of players feel like the other carries are just better options right now.
For sure, I agree with you there. Usually you see a Gwen picked into this box, or a weapon power melee hero, perhaps like a Glaive there, which they did have. Could have been that. We do see Stefanu though coming down to the lane. Will we find an afterburn is the question. No, it is going to knock Paul Monroe away from his team. Get a little bit lucky there.
Yeah, the positioning of those afterburns is so crucial in the early game. If that goes just a little bit further and knocks Paul Monroe back towards the rest of the team, you got to figure that's going to be a kill secured for Memento Mori. But as it stands, it will allow Kieran some free time here to farm up these minions without opposition. Every laner loves to have an opportunity to do that. And, the CS is fairly close, but with this wave pushing in towards Paul Monroe, or a larger wave available to him, he will be able to increase the CS lead just a touch. Down in the jungle is where I want to actually pay a lot of attention to. You got Pokey Chips going for this Crystal Blackfeather, and Stefanu very likely to be, actually, New Day.
Stefanu in lane, just gets stunned by Sasiska as he flies on over. That's a lot of damage being traded onto him as well. Very unfortunate. Well, I say very unfortunate. It was actually very well played by Sasiska, and we'll give him credit. Poo Chip's also hanging out in this tri-bush, and I reckon Stefanu's going to find a nasty surprise that will have his afterburn to escape. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. Looks like Poo Chips will actually just allow him to head into his jungle. Or not.
They're going to be beating each other? No. Quick afterburn right back up the lane.
Yeah. So very slow. We do see Stefanu attempt to make ganks. The thing about CP Blackfeather is that actually for waves, scaling wise, they're very, very good. They don't actually, unlike the previous game, they don't really need to go for any massive engages. I'm sure they will with the Catherine, lock someone down, try and blow them up with the Vox and the Blackfeather, but to be honest, early game, they can be kind of confident in just farming up and trying to gain some advantages in CS and gold.
And Pokechips is doing a good job of stealing away some of this jungle from Safantu. Safantu is going to go ahead and finish off that Storm Crown, so he will have a very quick jungle clear. Oh, it's a new day. Not quite going to go down just yet. Not enough damage onto this Vox, even with a Sorrow Blade, to be able to finish off that kill.
Quite interesting when we see the Sorrow Blade first item out of Paul Monroe. Do wonder what his build will be. Very, very diverse hero right now. Can go so many different kinds of builds. Earlier today saw him on a Poison Shiv, Serpent's Mask, and I want to say Breaking Point, which is pretty standard from previous patches, but perhaps lost a bit of favorability recently. Pokechips steals away the Treant from Stefantu and receives an afterburn as his reward, but able to Rose Offensive away. It's a new day, does get stunned down, and the on point will hurt quite a bit. Will even force support back to base. Currently, it is just Waves, very comfortable in invading, getting experience leads, getting gold leads, and trying to make Memento Mori feel uncomfortable.
Well, the gold lead hasn't really panned out just yet. Still very even. Another afterburn, not going to connect the way they want. And so Safantu has to just walk away with his tail between his legs once again, as the Glaive ganks just haven't really been working out for him the way that they would hope in this early game.
For sure. This Glaive just hasn't been landing the afterburns quite like they need to. Though, once a new day hits at level 6, it can make things a little bit easier. You portal in as a team, and then you can afterburn because you're already on top of the opposition. So you can really position the afterburn exactly how you want to. Currently, though, Wave's just going to cycle this farm, try and get Paul Monroe up to level 6, and he is going to hit it just as we say that. Gets that ultimate unlocked as well. There was a bit of an experience deficit in the lane as Kieran was slightly further ahead, but that is now null as we speak.
Paul Monroe does have a slight CS lead as well to his name, so going to be happy for that. He said, I'm going to be really curious to see where this build path goes. Currently looking like the next item might end up being a breaking point if he continues down this path, but can always change. Can always just be picking up some items just because he could, or because it's all that he could at the time. But we're going to start seeing this big damage coming out from this Black Feather on points, with it now being overdriven due to level 8. The range and damage on it is pretty massive.
Ooh, Pokechips lands down a lot of damage onto Lyra. It's a new day. Very, very low. Holds onto the fountain though, very important. Now that fountain stays intact, and this is very strong stuff from Pokechips, just making everyone's life very uncomfortable. It allows Paul Monroe to scale up nicely in lane. Just has to be careful he doesn't get engaged upon like it did look like was happening in the lane. So Siska comes through. Pokechips also going to make his way up. They land another merciless pursuit of Stefantu jumps on in. Oh, they're going to run straight into Stefantu. Where's the afterburn? Doesn't go the right way. Fountain flies out, and the Hellfire Brew will be blocked up with the Rose offensive. But a Fountain advantage now over to Memento Mori.
Yeah, for the next minute or so, they will have that edge. But so many times we see a Fountain advantage go over, and team just not even attempt or have an opportunity to capitalize on it. I feel like that's what we're going to end up seeing here. Waves is very much aware of the fact that they're at a fountain disadvantage, so they're going to back off a bit, play a little bit safe, and then only 30 seconds left for them to have to wait for that fountain to be back up and available. They should be A-okay. Paul Monroe did go for the breaking point second item, so this is like an old school Vox build of the Sorrow Blade breaking point. It'll be matched on the other side by Kieran. I'm very interested in seeing where these builds end up going.
It seems like Poison Shiv would be a really good idea until Lyra, right? You just expect it these days.
Yeah,
Very
especially
strong.
on Vox. Like, Vox is so good with the Poison Shiv because a Sonic Zoom is 2 of the 3 attacks that you need to proc the Mortal Wounds. So I'm kind of surprised that it wasn't picked up as a first item, which we so often see for a Vox.
Well, looks like he might actually go towards it. There is the Swift Shooter. So unless that's a Tornado Trigger, might come through as a third
Or a
item.
Bonesaw.
I guess a Bonesaw could be there as well.
I would
Very
expect a
peculiar.
Poison Shiv.
Yeah. Not to say there's not options, it's just that would seem the most likely to try and shut down its A New Day's power. Waves, with this CP Black Feather, they can just chunk down this turret, the on points, off cooldown so often. Shattered Glass does a lot of work for it. Looks like Waves might even attempt to try and take this gold miner. Will it even be contested is the question. It's A New Day.
Doesn't look like it.
Has a flare in his pocket, but as you mentioned, it doesn't look like they are going to contest it. They spot it, go away. So they get to say goodbye to the gold miner.
And they get to give it their last farewells, but it is going to still be a very close game. Slight gold edge, about 1,000 gold for the side of Waves because of that gold miner going over. Aside from that, there really has not been much difference between these teams. A little bit extra damage on the turret, but now Kieran may be caught out.
Big on
Just
point, chunks him on down. And yeah, it's not like he got stunned or Pomero decided to auto attack him. It just moved in towards them very quickly at speed. That's a failed afterburn being punished a little bit. Silence onto Kieran, that's a lot of damage. They're going to charge forward. Poor Monroe, first blood, finds it at 11 minutes. He is going to take a lot of turret damage. Oh, just about escapes the turret at the last second. That would have been his life gone, I think. No, he had a reflex block. He could have survived it. This turret, it doesn't look like it's going to survive. Rose offensive to block on up, and that's going to be the turret down.
Yeah, nice job using that Rose offensive to block the afterburn stun and get himself out to safety. Takes the turret down with them, so Waves, all of a sudden, gold miner and a turret. And they've got themselves almost a 3,000 gold lead for themselves off the heels of that and the first blood. They were able to get themselves a nice little advantage if they keep trying to push the issue.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking, is that for Waves, they do have to push the issue. They can't let this this apparent lead that they've got force stagnant. There we go. That's probably a better word. But oh, it is a tornado trigger. Okay, Pomero. Interesting. I don't know why. Pomero is going down this this crit build. Maybe he expects Kieran to go full offensive and not build defense.
I mean, he'd be right thus far. Kieran going for the Tyrant's Monocle as his third item. But like you said, into a Lyra, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me to not pick up a Poison Shiv, because it's just such a strong item to stop what so much of Memento Mori's team fight sustain is going to be. But either way, it's working for them thus far. We'll see.
Yeah, if no armor gets built up tasty, then I would argue that the crit is better than the Poison Shiv. We just have to see if Kieran does decide to finish his offensive build here, because if he goes down the armor tree, then I think perhaps the Poison Shiv could be more effective.
Well, you also have to expect that Savantu and It's A New Day will be getting themselves Atlas Pauldrons.
It also makes sense from the point of view that if a Merciless Pursuit connects onto the Ringo, and Pokechips is going to look to try and blow him up with his on-point Rose offensive, so Pomero wants to also be part of the blow-up process. So the crit and the attack speed does allow for the breaking point to scale up a little bit quicker and hopefully get to a more damaging point of view. So I guess the concept from Waves is that they focus one target as a unit based off the Merciless Pursuits, and they just attempt to blow that person up as quickly as possible. And that's where the Tornado Trigger would make a little bit more sense.
It's very similar ideas behind both team comps, but here we go.
Oh, Afterburn straight on top of Pokechips. He goes very low. Pomero doing the damage. Wave for it flies out. Silences 2. Blast Tremor gonna triple that silence. Triple, double. It doesn't matter. It is a huge fight, and that's a double kill for Pomero. It's a New Day trying to escape. It's the shortest portal I've ever seen. And Sisiska's gonna continue the chase. Looks like It's a New Day is gone away. I think Pomero's gonna run into him here. Yeah, Pomero is gonna run into him here. and it's going to be Pomero finding the kill. It's a new day, cannot escape. An ace comes through, the maced up minions will crash into that tier 2 turret, and the Crystal Sentry is going to lose its first life.
Alright, so in that fight, definitely Kieran, I think, made a big mistake by channeling the Hellfire Brew. As a weapon, Ringo, especially, unless you are well away from the fight, the Hellfire Brew is not going to be your best answer to anything. I feel like just getting more basic attacks out is always going to be a better option for you, especially when you've got breaking point stacks built up. I don't know if it would have changed the outcome, but I really don't want to see Kieran throwing out the Hellfire Brew in the middle of team fights. Unless, again, it's trying to chase down someone who's about to die. Kraken going exceptionally quickly over to the side of Waves. And now, just like that, they've got themselves a huge advantage to try and push with.
That was facilitated by Sisiska picking up a Storm Crown just as they finished that fight.
Mm-hmm.
And then straight over to the Kraken. As soon as she spawned, they started attacking it. Waves so much more decisive on this composition. And Memento Mori in a bit of a pickle now, as they are going to look to try and find an engage, I think, with Stefantu. Pomero knocked sideways, not where he wants to be. Stefantu going to dive forward, but that's really his damage done. Already the damage has been done in this team fight. Stefantu knocks Pokechips sideways, but look at the damage that's coming out of Pomero. He is just tearing through these HP bars. He's going to follow through, as his Pokechips are going to find that kill, and it's Kieran trying to escape, but he is going to go solo. Ooh, on points. Not going to come out. Pokechips has to be careful. This turret would go down, I think, to the Kraken, and there's not really much Kieran can do but throw out a Hellfire Brew, which will get blocked out nonetheless. 5 seconds on Stefantu. Waves, very greedy. If they continue on here, they could just all end up dying, get counter-aced, but they will at least contain one of these Vein Crystal turrets. Pokechip's going to fall. Paul Monroe, he's going to try and port on back, but he's going to get chased on down and stopped up where he stands, and it's going to be Sisiska escaping and making sure that no ace buff minions trouble them. That turret's going to go down as well, I think. Yep.
Yeah, it's going to, or is it? Oh. No, it doesn't. On the downswing, Kraken gets taken care of. Kieran got himself quite a bit of shutdown gold from those 2 kills. Jumped up to 1,500 gold when Kraken went down. So it's going to be able to start building up a little bit of Pierce to try and deal with the massive amount of armor that has been built on the opposing side. But that also means that Kieran himself is not going to have any armor to try and deal with Paul Monroe. But it's a very high risk, high reward build path. As long as Stefantu can land some really good afterburns, which he hasn't been able to thus far, it shouldn't be an issue. But that's going to be the key for Memento Mori, is will those afterburns knock targets into the spot they need, as opposed to knocking them either sideways or away from the team.
Kieran going to be stunned up here, going to take a lot of damage from Pokechips, is getting chunked on down, the fountain will keep him alive. Good blast tremor, followed up with a second silence from Paul Monroe. The fountain finally comes out. It is going to be Paul Monroe struggling with Stefantu. Kieran finds the first kill onto Pokechips. Here comes the Hellfire Brew onto Sisiska. That's going to do a lot of damage. That should kill him. A double for Kieran, and it's all Paul Monroe left alive. A bit of a throw here coming out of Waves, and looks like Paul Monroe might be able to escape, but Journey Boot's going to be finished by Kieran. Will we be able to chase Paul Monroe down is the question. No, they're going to give up chase.
Was a little bit late. It's a New Day was a little bit late on activating the healing sigil to get the movement speed to try and keep chasing, but he said now they can try and turn their attention to the Kraken. They just need to be careful. If they don't take this fast enough, Pokechips will be respawning. Paul Monroe is waiting in the wings. Doesn't look like he's going to make an attempt to stop this though, so Kraken will go over to Memento Mori, and this becomes an issue where, again, yes, going for that crit and trying to just blow up a target is nice, but we saw so much healing come out of It's a New Day. You have to wonder, if there was a poison shiv on Paul Monroe, would they be able to just cleanly win that fight?
Sell the breaking point, buy a poison shiv. Best of both worlds, I think. This Kraken is going to do some work. It is just his first turret that it is on though. Stefantu knocks Pokechips the wrong direction. That should be Stefantu going very low. Yeah, he is going to go very low. The Kraken will find the turret, but Fountain was forced to keep Stefan2 alive in that one. And Memento Mori, will they continue this harass? I feel like it's very risky to do so. They might just fall back and let this Kraken be taken. A single turret secured for its efforts. Does put some gold back into the pockets, though, of Memento Mori.
Yeah, it's only 300 gold each for Memento Mori, whereas the members of Waves got 500 gold each, and it was only that first turret falling. At this stage of the game, that first turret is not anywhere near as important. So I feel like in the end, it is going to be Waves that gets the slightly better of that deal. And now they're going to be able to just push up themselves. They only have one turret that they need to worry about. Memento Mori needs to be careful that Waves don't just shove straight through and try and end this game. Tension Bow completed for Kieran. They are going to be having to port to try and meet Waves here to defend.
Memento Mori are looking for the engage. It's going to be countered with a silence. Siska charging forward with the wall treads, bringing his team back on in. That's going to be Stefan2, back up to full HP. Pokechips knocked sideways. Kieran laying down some damage. Stefan2 going a little bit low. Currently, Memento Mori, they're trying to rinse repeat. Afterburn, that's not what you want, and that's going to be the Fountain Pop, but Paul Monroe wants to fight. Kieran, he's doing the damage, but Paul Monroe's going to escape. Blast Throw flies out. Paul Monroe with a double somehow finds Kieran before he drops down, and it's a new day. Can he get onto the healing platform? Yes, he can. Just gets there. Has to be careful that Pokechips can't poke him down, but it doesn't seem likely as this Lyra is just so tanky. It is one turret,
so close
and the
to
turret is so low. He needs to fight. He needs to try and kill them. He's going to take Pokechips. Can he get the kill? That's going to be the Rose offensive over the wall. He finds it first. Now he's onto Siska. It's 14 seconds on Stefan2. It's all on you. It's a new day. Keep your base alive, my man. Stormguard banner stopping it through. Siska, though, pops the wall treads to escape. It's a new day. Tries to find the snipe with the sigil, will get the movement speed. 8 seconds and he's got himself a passage, but he's not going to continue chasing. He saves the day!
Oh man, new day, allowing Memento Mori to see a new day as he saves the crystal. Absolutely incredible play from It's a New Day. These two teams are so ridiculously evenly matched. It is unreal. And again, though, Stefan2, these afterburns have been so close to being absolutely decisive. Well, they have been decisive because they've been not what they need to get the job done. But it's so close to being the perfect afterburns, but he's just not quite able to get it. They're charging the base. Waves just going to charge.
You know what? I want someone watching the stream to clip that, download it, and put feeling good over it, you know. Just over It's a New Day. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for team. And I'm feeling good. If they come back, they'll be feeling good, but it's going to be the engage from Siska. Stefan2 flying on in. Doesn't quite find the afterburn they need. Silence going to fly on out. Hellfire Brew does connect onto Paul Monroe. He goes a little bit low, but Stefan2, can he survive? Fountain, no, he will go down. Siska blasts Tremors to try and keep them all back. Waves, they know the objective.
They're going for the base.
Freeing Crystal.
So Siska's stopping recalls.
Yeah, stop the ports, and that's just going to be it. They're going to get Siska, but it is done and dusted, I think. They're going to port back for Pokechips, and Paul Monroe should have the base here. Waves looking to try and bring this to a second game. Kieran, can he do it? He's got the crit! He's got the crit! It's a triple kill from Kieran! Oh my goodness! Lay up the news! Get that on Twitter! I want to see feeling good over this game.
Oh my goodness, Memento Mori are playing with fire. They are so close to losing this game on multiple occasions now, but somehow able to make it work. Kieran with this 4 offensive item build on Ringo, and now they're going to be working on this Kraken. They have a couple of Ace Buff minions left in the lane to help push that up, but my goodness, Memento Mori. What is this game, Dowsy?
Oh, man. You know what I mean, Tasty Bacon. Birds flying high. You know how I feel. It's incredible, Tasty Bacon. It's absolutely incredible, this game so far. Right now, we just have to see if Memento Mori, this comeback, this defensive game they played, will it be worthwhile or will it all be for nil? Kraken has been taken. 3 turrets stand between Memento Mori and the Vein Crystal. Theirs have been exposed for so long. And it looks like the Kraken is going to start hitting this turret. Kieran throws the Hellfire Brew out. Pokechips easily blocks the burn, but the turret will fall down. 2 more to go. Stefantu, another failed. Afterburn, wait for it, flies out, silences up a couple, but Kieran, he's starting to stack up 5 breaking points, stack 6. And Siska just charging forward, trying to buy some room. This turret is falling low. Can Memento Mori get it is the question. No, they're going to give up. And we're back where we started, Tasty Bacon. I don't think the turret, it will even fall. No, it won't. Defense time for Memento Mori.
My goodness, this series is just too much. I mean, look at Paul Monroe has so much gold that he just bought like 6 infusions just because, even though they don't stack or anything of the sort. He's just like, I don't know what to do with all of this money. Everyone on the side of Waves is full build. Everyone on the side of Memento Mori, with the exception of Safantu, is pretty much full build as well. New Day actually has 2 slots open for Vision, though, so that's going to be interesting. But Sasiska gets a stun.
Yeah, wait for it, flies out. Good afterburn used defensively, but Waves are going to continue charging forward. Kieran needs to stack up this breaking point, needs to get the damage, but Pokechips is on top of him. Afterburn used defensively, they're just cycling it, but it's looking like a New Day's going to get taken on down, and he will. That's going to be no Fountain, there's no Crucible, and Kieran's going to lose his life. It is a double, it is it. Waves take the game. We're going to a 3rd in this series.
26.5 minutes for game number 2. 10 minutes shorter than game number 1, Dowsy, but we are still over an hour of game time between these 2 teams, and we have yet to have a decisive victor in this best of 3, so we're going to do one more game.
Scoundrel, we're an hour and 15 minutes into the broadcast and heading to our 3rd game. These 2 teams have definitely provided a lot of entertainment so far.
That game was just insane. And Dalcy, you did message me saying, "Do I love your singing?" Yes.
No, I messaged saying you do love my singing.
Oh, okay. I do love your singing. I think we should do a duo one day. You know.
Yes, we can do it. Upload it to YouTube. For all
in fact, let's clip it and put our singing over it. I'll do like the bass baritone. I'll do the "It's a new dawn, it's a new day," and you can do the sort of the high end stuff, and it'll be great.
Why did I ever sign up for this?
That was super crazy. I think the double silence composition has been something that we've seen so much of throughout Vainglory, and it just locks up team fights for so long that, you know, if you have to back off if you don't Crucible or Blast Tremor, you have to back off. Because then the Vox silence comes out immediately afterwards, and suddenly it's sort of 3 seconds or so worth of silence that you just can't respond to anything with. So it's a composition that we have seen a lot of in the past of Vainglory, and it was now Catherine had the buff to her heroic perk. We are starting to see this come out more, with Vox still retaining popularity as one of the premier weapon power carries. So again, with the Ringo, you know, you do like to sort of, I guess, get an early lead over the Vox in lane. You're supposed to win in lane over Vox. With the CP Glaive not quite as strong as it was in the past, you know, there's a composition that was kind of weaker in terms of meta on the side of Memento Mori. But let's be honest, Poison Shiv not coming out probably delayed the game longer than it should have.
I love it. Paul Maroon's like, start fast. I don't have much battery left. 25 minutes plus 36 minutes is a long time for the poor device.
Normally, if I see a player say, "Oh, my battery's low," I'm just like, "Well, you should have charged your device." This is one of the few times where I'm like, he may have had his device at full charge and could be running low at this point.
Yeah, no, for sure. 3rd draft here, guys. I don't even know what to expect anymore. I think we want to see Stefantu back on his CP Kestrel.
Yeah, I definitely would much rather see him on the CP Kestrel, or I mean, it's going to sound harsh, but really anything other than the Glaive. I just did not like the Glaive for Safantu at all.
Shaw's been left open. Look at this.
So, yeah, Grumpjaw left open as they don't want New Day's. I mean, that's saying something about the New Day, though, that he draws the respect ban of the Lyra. But it is, like you mentioned, going to allow the Grumpjaw, but
No
they're
way.
debating, do they want the Grumpjaw
No
or the
way.
Catherine?
They're gonna pick Catherine up over Grumpjaw. Never have I ever. Right there, tasty bacon. Yeah, never have I ever. If it slips through this next two, I will be. I don't know. Twitch chat can decide what I'll do as a forfeit.
Okay,
It's
so
gonna
it's
slip through.
Vox. Oh.
It's gonna slip through. No, never mind. I call it back.
You can't just take that back. That's not something you can just take back. They're not even like hovering it.
I feel like you've taken back predictions before, Tasty Bacon Kappa.
Oh my goodness. That's only like after the games are done, though.
Oh, okay. I believe. I believe. Right.
But
Vox
yeah, no
and Arden.
Grumpjaw picked in the first 3 picks.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Now, looks like Waves are debating what hero they want to play with. Would be Idris locked in here. Looks like it's going to be a CP Idris once more for Paul Monroe. So Siska now looking in the weapon power hero for Waves. Could be CP. They could decide to play the Idris as a weapon power carry rather, but looks like they will actually decide to do that.
Oh,
I like Sky. I like this combination actually a lot. Sky provides for.
Are we gonna get a
range
last pick,
Idris.
Grumpjaw?
No, because Stefantu was a Kestrel man, so he's just gonna play it. We're gonna have a draft where Grumpjaw.
They're thinking about it. They're thinking about it.
They might lock it in. Okay, they do.
Okay.
Swap heroes.
Last pick, Grumpjaw. How does Grumpjaw get through that deep in the draft? I mean, the only viable explanation I can think of is like Waves is just so used to Grumpjaw being banned that none of them have played it in like the last month, and they just don't remember how to play it. That's about
like-
the only viable option I can think of.
It's like, I just don't remember, guys. Like, do I? Oh man! All right, we're gonna jump into this game. I think this is pretty insane. Game 3 of this series. Waves tied 1-1 with Memento Mori here. Grumpjaw being picked 6th in the draft rather than 1st or 2nd. Pretty insane. Many insane things, I think, have been taken away from this game and this series, Tasty.
Oh, well, here we go. Game number 3 between Waves and Memento Mori. It is in the winner's bracket, so whoever loses this will at least not be eliminated from challengers entirely. But you want to stay in the winner's bracket as long as you can, have as few games as possible to get to the playoffs and to the challenge battles at the end of the split. We're going to be seeing this weapon Grumpjaw.
The difference between the amount of games you actually do have to play though is huge. If you
it's massive.
You stay in the upper bracket, and I don't think this will be a weapon powered Grumpjaw. I think it's just going to be weapon bits for early game. Skirmishing, trying to get the most out of it. But we do see a fight breaking out. Pokechips does lay down a lot of damage. Very likely Stefantu will start building towards a crystal tree on his first back. I think it's Stormguard banner still first on Grumpjaw, and then go into your Aftershock.
Well, I mean, it's... I don't know. Is it going to be a weapon, or is it going to be crystal, is what I'm wondering.
It will be crystal. 100%.
Okay.
No way that you go CP Fox in this, and I very much doubt that we'll see a double weapon power composition from Memento Mori.
Alright, well, we'll see how it shapes up. I mean, right now they've got themselves a little bit of a skirmish in the middle, but it's just going to be Pokechips kind of throwing down a forward barrage, and that's really about it. As do they want to start up this ancient tree? And they are going to go for it. Route onto a new day. Doesn't matter, as Savantu does get himself the ancient treant. Meanwhile, up in the lane, take a look at the early CS numbers, 22 to 18, so a small little lead for Kieran. New Day is going to take a lot of damage.
Yeah, it certainly does, and Pokechips transfers over to Kieran there with this Series Strike just to give him a little bit of a love tap as well. We do see Stefan to finish off that Stormguard banner, so we'll be going towards an Aftershock next, I believe, and starting to build into that Crystal Power build that we see from Grumpjaw fairly typically. And Kieran will continue the scaling game on this Vox. The fact he has Book of Eulogies in his inventory suggests that he'll be going towards a Poison Shiv early on in his build. It's the Swift Shooter and the Book of Eulogies that makes you think that it's going to be the Poison Shiv, and as said, he does pick it up on his first back.
All right, so both of these teams are going to be, I mean, this is kind of, we're used to them playing very defensively, very passively to start the game off. I think you said Kieran with the Poison Shiv. Like to see the Poison Shiv first item on Vox, even if there isn't a healer on the other side. It's just such a good item for it. Savantu's going to clean up that Ancient Treant once again. Nice job with this Grumpjaw.
Yeah, no, and Grumpjaw is really strong in the early game. The amount of damage he outputs is pretty insane. So can secure camps pretty successfully, but also can land some pretty good skirmishes. The only thing that's stopping the skirmishes really coming out from Stefantu is the fact that Sisiska's Catherine kind of prevents the chase. It keeps Sky pretty safe. That all relies on Sisiska being there. Pokechips. If Stefantu was to run into Pokechips by himself, then there's a chance that Stefantu could burst him down.
They're going to be looking for that to happen. However, all 6 members up in the lane, see if there's any advantages gained. Stefantu jumps on in.
Former in a lot of trouble trying to get away. We'll be able to roll to safety. No fountains completed just yet at this 5-minute mark. But Momentum Mori in a very nice position where they can push this lane up and try and... Oh, Pokechips anticipated the stuff from Stefantu. Does mean that he will survive.
As they continue to try and push on through, it's a New Day. It's going to go low. The forward barrage not quite going to be connecting there. Minions able to block up a good chunk of it as well, but Wave's going to make a move down into the jungle. Stefantu recognizes that his jungle is being stolen away, but there's nothing he can do. He can't quite get there in time. And so we're going to be seeing Waves. They will have a bit of a damage advantage early on. Paul Monroe is going for this weapon Idris, so it'll be a little bit different from what we saw from him in game number 1. But they just have a lot more flat damage than what will be available from the side of Memento Mori because of the build path differences.
Yeah, and I'm very intrigued to see who out of these two rosters is going to be playing the aggressive game. Both compositions have very aggressive heroes. Stefantu, that was a bit of a pot shot, trying to catch out Sisiska. Currently, it seems like the trend with Grumpjaw is attempt to swallow up the captain so that you can burst down one of the 2 carries whilst the fountain will be unavailable for use. So I have to see if that is what Stefantu sticks towards this game. We'll be finishing his Aftershock after this rotation, which is huge item spike for this Grumpjaw. Going to provide even more cooldown for his ultimate, his abilities, but also the burst potential as well.
Yeah, and I really like the decision to go for the, well, I assume it's going to be the Aftershock completed before the Storm Crown. It's something an adaptation a lot of junglers started to make last season, where they would get the Stormguard banner just for the quicker clear speed, and then get the Aftershock, be able to influence team fights and have a little bit more damage quicker. There's going to be a nice stuffed.
Yeah, it is going to be the captain stuffed up, but the Death from Above going to spit Sisiska straight on out. Fountain popped by It's a New Day. whilst Waves held onto their own. They're going to pop the minion candy and look to try and aggress onto this turret. Stefantu just trying to eat up the wave, but look at the damage just being traded back out by Paul Monroe and Pokechips consistently, keeping Memento Mori very low and the turret down to 1/3 of its HP bar.
And like you said,
HP bar.
Fountain used a little bit earlier by It's a New Day means they're not going to have it available as they continue to try and defend here. And Waves looking to take advantage.
Pokechips is just consistently destroying with these forward barrages, but Waves weren't keen on sticking around, instead wanting to finish off some items on Paul Monroe. Got himself very, very close towards the Poison Shiv start of his build, even suggesting to Pokechips that a Broken Myth would be better than an Eve of Harvest at this point, based on the fact that the forward barrage are consistently connecting, and with two big heroes like Grumpjaw and like Arden, it does provide the potential to stack up that Broken Myth nice and quickly.
And as long as you're able to remain accurate with the forward barrage, like I said, you get big stacks without really putting yourself at risk. And then if Memento Mori does try and engage onto Pokechips, they're going to eat a ton of damage from Paul Monroe, especially once he goes down and finishes off the Poison Shiv, which he has the money for. It's just a matter of when he's going to make that trip to the shop. The Crucible finished off by It's a New Day. They're going to be worried about trying to block those blast tremors. Lots of damage onto this turret.
Yeah, it's New Day going forward. Kieran here as well. Stefantu, no ultimate. He hasn't got it up as he missed it a little bit earlier, and looks like now could be an opportunity to go and shop for some of these heroes. Pokechips has 600 gold in his inventory, going to try and farm up a little bit. Paul Monroe very content just playing this game where he jumps on in and tags Kieran down to half HP with a couple auto attacks. That was about Chakram up. Could have been even more detrimental to Kieran's health bar. Kieran does have a Poison Shiv, so we'll look to heal that up nice and quickly.
And Paul Monroe is going to not be able to get down to the shop because he recognizes this push coming through from Memento Mori. He's going to get stuffed, but immediately the stun. Great job by Sasiska to make sure that Paul Monroe does not get dragged back across the lane.
And maybe that's where Waves felt like Grumpjaw wasn't very strong, because they're just instantly merciless pursuit, and you're outside, you get released. But Sasiska has to be extremely careful that he just doesn't die in these engagements. Pops the fountain purely from himself, and it's something captains really dislike doing, is using the that fountain for that Paul Monroe breaking point before the Poison Shiv. That's very intriguing. I'm a really big disagreeer, I guess you could say. I'm not sure what the right word is, of the breaking point on Idris. I just don't think it has a place on the hero.
Yeah, I mean, he does so much burst that you're not really necessarily looking for that sustained damage. He does take down the turret after the gold mine goes over. Stefantu gonna get a stuff down as well.
He's starting to stack up at this point. Look, but like it drops down, and Sasiska loses his life. Idris jumps in and out. That's first blood as well. 11 minutes. Not quite as long as previous game, but
We had first blood after first turret.
yeah. Idris likes to assassinate. He likes to jump in. He likes to jump out. He likes to poke with his chakrams. There's so many different things Idris likes to do to try and get damage off. Death from above, really poorly placed there by Pokechips, doesn't achieve anything, and the turret will fall. Breaking point just, it kind of goes against the idea of being all around the fight. It doesn't provide any great damage stats at the beginning of the fight, which is when Idris can typically do the most of his damage.
Like I said, he's very burst focused, not sustained damage focused. So
yeah. So Paul Monroe is kind of saying that he wants to stack it up on the Grumpjaw or the Arden or even Kieran and try and go for these long prolonged fights. But I think that we'll likely see that he'll stack it up to maybe 7 stacks and then jump away with his Shimmer Strike, and it's going to fall down, and he's never going to really hit a point where he's starting to contest the 15 stacks of breaking point.
We'll have to see. Everyone is going to get spotted here as Waves just throws out that single flare. Spots Memento Mori as they are going to be a little bit on the back foot, even though they have a gold lead and they have the kill. It's still Waves that are the ones being much more aggressive. So there's going to be a couple broken mid stacks, but again, very similar to the first two games where neither side is really willing to go for an all-in engagement here in the mid game.
Stefantu's gone this on-hit build for Grumpjaw with a tension bow as his third damage item.
We saw it work really well yesterday.
Yeah, Treason played that yesterday. Seemed to work out pretty nicely for Isuba.
Granted, it was in a composition where they were focused around just nothing but burst, whereas Kieran isn't quite as burst focused as, say, the Idris was yesterday. So we'll see if it still works out for them, even with a different makeup around it. Memento Mori, I mean, their composition looks like they want to be really aggressive, but neither of these two teams really seem to be a very aggressive team.
No. Neither of them want to be the aggressors. Neither of them want to be super proactive, which is a big concern for, I think, for everyone, because you get punished very heavily by teams that will be ultra aggressive. Infusions out and about for these carries. Waves trying to find a fight. That's going to be stuffed once more. Missing from Stefantu. Good Gauntlet locks a couple down. Paul Monroe's trying to do the damage. Starting to stack up. You know, he is really high on the breaking point. Maybe I'm mistaken, as he's got it straight up to 20 as he sticks in the fight. Will jump away and it will drop down now. Pokechip's going to have to sub on in. The Chakram connects. Serious strike right on over, and Pokechip should be able to finish the fight with the forward barrage. No, he doesn't. But it's a new day. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Paul Monroe, careful.
Just about escapes. Sasiska lands the stun. Sasiska, though, walks away, and oh my gosh, it's a new day. Survives. Everyone is on a blink of a HP bar. That's actually insane.
Well, with that Crystal Sentry there, none of these three members of Waves wanted to commit to trying to get that ace. Rightfully so. I think if any of them did try and commit to that, they would have ended up going down as a result. So they don't want to let New Day have that hero play in the jungle. But 2-1, they were able to find 2 kills, and for their troubles, get themselves actually it's an immense gold payout going to Memento Mori after losing that fight. So
that fight did nothing for Waves, despite the fact they won it.
Yeah, they won the fight, but got literally nothing off of it. And instead, Memento Mori takes stuff.
Negative net result with their gold miner going over to Memento Mori. Breaking point for Kieran. Paul Monroe has his poison shift now.
Infusion starting to come out as well. Level 12 infusion for Savantu. He's going to be looking to charge in. Does not connect with the stuff.
Alright, little tip on Grumpjaw. Use your A to get into the fight first. Make sure those reflect blocks get used, then you're stuffed. Here comes the engage. Gauntlet goes down. Paul Monroe in the gauntlet walls. The Fountain trying to heal him, and he will be able to walk away. Shiziska might not have the same fate. Pokechips, huge damage with this series strike with the forward barrage. Paul Monroe's going to re-engage, trying to find the kill, but he's going to just lose his life for it. That's going to be Kieran getting a double kill before he does eventually fall. It's a new day. Escaped once before, but I don't think this time he's going to have the same fate. He's going to try and use this Treant, but he just ends up rooting himself for the triple kill. And that's me done.
At that time, Pokechips didn't have to worry about a Crystal Sentry to stop him from securing that ace. So, one man standing when all is said and done. But with those ace buff minions, Pokechips should be able to take down this tier 2 turret.
You think so, right? Looks like he will as well. Starting to regain some of this gold that was lost, but there's still a bit of a deficit for Waves. What is the next items that we can talk about? Stefantu starting to build towards an Aegis. Looks like Pokechips has hit his 3 damage item point. Has an energy battery which he should convert into Halcyon charges. And then can finish the Aegis for himself. It's a new day caught out a little bit. Infusions on everyone as we speak. The next team fight decides the Kraken. It looks like Kraken might just get started up.
I think they're just trying to perhaps bait Memento Mori into a fight. Their Waves is feeling pretty good about these team fights. They've been winning the last couple of fights. And looks like they're trying to do just that. Yeah, they're going to actually be pulling the Kraken way off to the side. Paul Monroe and Sasiska going to work on that while Pokechips just distracts their opponents. Look how much vision they have as well in order to do so. Frostburn going to keep them at bay.
Yeah, but they know it's happening. They're going to have to try and get in there quickly. Flare goes down, wait for it as well. Doesn't silence anyone. It's going to be a blast tremor going out. Will the Kraken be secured? No, they're going to start charging on. Gauntlet doesn't catch anyone apart from Stefantu. No, it is going to be Stefantu securing the Kraken. Oh, it's gone all wrong. The stuffed, it connects, but Stefantu loses his life. Everyone on Memento losing their life as it's a new day, last man standing. The Kraken did go over to Memento Mori, and it's a new day somehow winning that forward barrage as he's going to try and reposition, but he will lose his life. The Kraken, the ace. Oh my goodness. It's going to be Paul Monroe finishing this Kraken for a second time, and nothing Waves can actually get off this.
Well, they're going to get a little bit of damage onto this tier 2 turret, but that's about it. At the very least, they don't have Kraken pushing in towards them as they did steal it away, but this will be gold into the pockets of Waves as they have an 8-3 kill lead. They get that Kraken for 500 gold each, and they're only sitting on about 1,000 gold lead as a result. So again, just these two teams are so evenly matched, so ridiculously close between the two of them. It is almost impossible to actually predict who is going to come out on top during these team fights and in this series. It can really go either way, but looks like Waves starting to feel a little bit more confident, starting to play a little bit more aggressive. Sasiska's got a ton of scout traps down in the jungle as they prepare themselves for maybe trying to make another push.
Yes. Waves has consistently won these fights here, Tasty Bacon, so I'm expecting that they're going to be able to find another engage here. Paul Monroe, it's breaking point, kind of somehow fitting the way these fights have been going for the team, in the way that they have been super drawn out, and Paul Monroe hasn't kind of been focusing purely on Kieran. He's been focusing on the Arden and the Grumpjaw, who've been at the forefront of the fights. So that's where the breaking point can kind of have a little bit more effectiveness. But it is going to be Savant who's swallowing up the Paul Monroe. He is completely put out of position as Kieran's going to charge forward and try and take down this Sky. It's not going to go to a good effect though, as that's going to be Paul Monroe coming around the back looking for a chakram, and it is just going to be Pokechips finishing off the kill. It's a new day now in a little bit of trouble as Paul Monroe going to tag him with the chakram. Forward barrage going to connect. Stefantu with the hero play dives on in, but it's a new day. Cannot escape this. Paul Monroe finishes him with a shroud step, and Stefantu going to lose his life for the double kill coming on through. An ace for Waves, and this time it's clean.
And this time it's clean, and the minions were already pushing up, so they're going to guarantee themselves this tier 3 turret, perhaps even more if they try and keep pushing. They can, I feel like they can definitely take one of those crystal turrets, but they're going to back off instead. It would have been risky, you know, Kieran was going to be coming up shortly, but it would have been a 3-on-1 situation for another 10 seconds or so. Instead, Kraken has respawned, so they're going to go ahead and start this objective up.
Looks like this should go over instantly to Waves. Possibly should have been the result of the previous Kraken attempt. Now, with just 2 turrets standing in between Waves and victory, I feel like this should just be the end that perhaps everyone is hoping for.
21 and a half minutes here. This could be our shortest game of the day, Dowsy. We are rapidly approaching that point.
Easy like that. Indeed, it could be Tasty Bacon. Stat guy, get your book out, get it ready, stopwatch ready. As here comes Waves. Kraken entering into the base. Memento Mori, the stuffed landing onto the Catherine. That's going to be Gauntlet Walls going down, and Stefantu's going to spit Cisco right on out. Look at this though, Paul Monroe's going to use this as an opportunity to try and take down this turret, and it looks like it is going to fall without a hitch. Paul Monroe in a bit of trouble. It's an Uday though, going to not be able to get the kill just yet, and everyone is falling back. This is it, Memento Mori, they are not contesting this Kraken push whatsoever. Focusing down Sisiska, the captain for the team, and Waves going to finish off what I have to say was perhaps the most interesting series of VGL to date.
Absolutely. Almost an hour and a half of just game time between these two teams. 84 minutes combined between this best of 3 series. But it is Waves that come out on top. Pokey Chips with a great game this time around. What?
Who taught you math? First game was 36 minutes, second game 25, third 22. That's 50. Okay, never mind.
That's 84. Who taught you math?
Who taught me
I
math?
used a calculator for this one. I knew what I was doing.
And this is where Excoundrel comes in and just breaks the awkwardness with a nice introduction. Gentlemen, it's obviously been tough on everybody. Tough series on everybody.
Tasty.
And look, I'm just gonna move us on to the next series, which I think we still have XL on hold, by the way, guys. I just don't know anymore. But then that's Waves taking the set over Memento Mori 2-1. Look, we are really behind schedule because this was the longest best of 3 series of Vainglory I have ever witnessed in my entire life. So I'm going to go to a quick break now, gentlemen and ladies, and we will be back with the XL series, I believe, after the break. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry, I just had to wait for Darcy to finish his sentence. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go with this next series of the day. XL Esports going up against 90 Degrees. Sorry there was a bit of delay. I had different names listed on the website to the ones that were given to me in game, but apparently okay with the admins and we're ready to get going with this series. Now, we are about an hour behind schedule, so we're going to jump straight into the draft phase and get this one going. Darcy and Tasty Bacon, you've got another series coming your way. Let's see if it's as long as the last.
That's just not a statement. That's funny right now, Alexandra. I'm just gonna stop you right there, my man. But you know what? I blasted some music, and I refreshed my inner being, only to come back to find that I'm casting Baby Groot and Baby Groot Part 2. So I'll have to see how that one works out.
I'm just gonna go with Baby Groot and Part 2. Like he doesn't.
I hope you listen to some sort of
the first part of the name.
Brain FM based music, Darcy, just to re-trigger your mental maths capabilities, because it was certainly an entertaining series of events. Now, draft phase is underway, and we're not going to spend the entire time talking about mental maths. We have a Lance locked in, locked up, and followed by an Arden, and it's going to be a Vox as well here for 90 Degrees. Pretty classic drafting phase thus far for the current update.
For sure. The Vox is super strong and can go so many different paths for the team that is necessary. The Lance pick, though, coming out for Nomad Vagabond, very interested to see if he can maintain those impales. Going to be super important for XL to maintain that. It's going to be a Kestrel coming out, so weapon power Kestrel in the lane, and a Samuel as well in the jungle.
That's it. I think that's from what I see and what I know of the guys. I know me and Dalcy have got a lot of experience playing with Cortez. He pretty much carried us on Samuel quite a few times last night, so I'm expecting that to go to Cortez in the jungle. That's where Cortez likes to take his position. That's going to be Bongwabu taking a weapon power Kestrel to lane here. It's going to be going straight up against Attacker, responded here by 90 Degrees. Tasty Bacon, what do you make of this?
I love the Taka into Samuel. I think it's actually a very strong pick. It also works really well into the Kestrel. You can use your Chitin to jump over the active camo traps if you know where they are. So as long as it's played up to its highest level, the Taka should do actually really well into this matchup.
Great O. Well, we're about to head into the game. Don't know what Great O was as a phrase. I've made it up. I'm going to hand it over to Dowsy and Tasty Bacon for this series between XL Esports and 90 Degrees.
Well, let's hope this one is a Great O game, Tasty Bacon, as very much interested to see how this XL squad with Bongma Bu now in the lane is going to perform. Bongma Bu played so many different squads in the various splits of Challenger Series. We'll have to see if he's found a home here in XL.
Yeah, well, coming into this one, again, we've seen Bongwabu have some really strong performances in the past. We've seen, obviously, you guys have seen Cortez in your solo queue games doing really well. The side of 90 Degrees, though, we don't really know a whole lot about. So it'll be really interesting to see how they do into this lineup. There's going to be Nafe stealing away that Treant, so nice job there securing their own jungle.
And it just means that the little bit of experience goes over. When you group up like this quite early, it's always a concern that you won't be hitting your level 2 very quickly. But with the Elder Treant going over to Bongma Bu, that's going to provide him a lot of extra golden experience in the lane. Nafe will be escorting Baby Groot Part 2 through the jungle, trying to catch out Cortez. Nomad Vagabond can provide a lot of resistance, though, for that. And Bongma Bu's, with the weapon power Kestrel in lane, is going to have a lot of kill pressure. Especially once he hits towards late game, it's going to just completely blow up opponents if he lands the Glimmer Shots auto attack combos.
Yeah, the Glimmer Shots are going to be really devastating. I'm going to be looking forward to seeing when Cortez will try and make some moves. He is currently sitting at level 2. Samuel level 2 is one of the strongest level 2 power spikes in the game. And so perhaps we see Cortez try and make something happen now, but I just don't really see them having too much of an opportunity to do so just yet.
Now, realistically, for XL, it's all about scaling here. They've got the Kestrel, who's going to be fairly good in the late game. They've got this Samuel, who's going to have a bit of a power spike now, and We'll fall off a little bit into the mid game. You have to be careful though. It's this toughest job to really make Cortez life a misery, and he's starting to do so. Bongmabu going to roam on down. Going to try and provide some assistance with the Glimmer Shots, and Baby Groot, the Vox, going to get involved. Nave looks like he might go down, tries to jump away, but Bongmabu will secure that first blood with the Glimmer Shot. And now Cortez making sure that Tucker doesn't steal any of his jungle. Will be Bongmabu chasing Vox all the way back towards the lane. Baby Groot part 2, a little bit in the pickle here as he's going to run straight into Bongmabu, and Bongmabu looking to try and secure the kill. Oh, one more Glimmer Shot, an auto attack actually secures it. Baby Groot chasing on down Bongmabu. Should be able to escape this one. There's a pretty low energy on the box. And all in all, a lot of success for XL in this early game.
Yeah, and then they actually give that mid treant over to Bongmabu as well. So despite going extremely low, Bongmabu was able to just get right back up into the lane and continue farming. So everything working out really well for XL here in the first 3 minutes, getting themselves those 2 kills. It's not quite having a gold lead as a result of it. They do get a little bit of one, like 500 gold or so in their favor when all is said and done. But that's a bit of a credit to Baby Groot Part 2 and how well this Taka has been able to farm up the jungle.
In Part 2, now hitting this Storm Guard banner, will have a lot of extra ability to steal away camps. I think that he needs to continue this harassment that he's putting towards Cortez, and even if it's not kills being secured, any treant that he steals away is bonus, really, to slowing down Cortez's scaling. If this Samuel is allowed to scale without too much of a hitch, able to get as much experience as necessary, get that level 6 online, that can be a bit of an issue for the side of 90 degrees. So it's just something to keep an eye on when you're playing this Tucker, is that you've got this really strong kit, especially early game, for stealing away objectives, securing objectives, and even finding kills, especially onto squishy targets like Kestrel and Samuel. And so you need to be trying to find those opportunities everywhere.
Well, these opportunities are going to start to present themselves as we get a little bit further into this game. And with these rotations, if either of these teams can out-rotate their opponents, then you get some really strong team fighting potentials. But for now, it looks like they are going to be on separate rotation timings, and so not really any chances to make plays happen. Baby Groot did finish off that Poison Shiv. Poison Shiv very good against someone like a Samuel because he relies so much on being able to sustain in a team fight. As long as Baby Groot can get onto Cortez, that's going to be the difficulty, because Samuel is usually also pretty far on the back lines when it comes to a team fight breaking out.
Yeah, and look at this damage that's just coming out consistently from Cortez and Bongmabu. So much poke. This is a nice little drifting dark. It's going to provide a lot of poke onto this turret. Nath, he's going to be forced back here. Does not have his blood for going in, but the Vanguard shield will be there for now. Turret down to just under half HP. XL are consistently trying to find objectives here. I do like their understanding of the power of their composition and the execution that seemingly is coming from it as well. Won't be long until that turret drops.
And already getting it down to about half health. It just looks like XL really trying to keep this pressure on in the lane, trying to constantly push in Baby Groot, look for opportunities. It's going to be a nice impale stun combo.
Will it be able to find the kill is the question? No, Nath seemingly escaping for the Nath of his skin. The Nath. Where is the Nath on your body? Am I thinking of the nape? I'm thinking of nape. Close enough. Baby Groot. The Baby Groot. Will they find a kill? No, it's going to be Baby Groot dying. And now it's Baby Groot dying. Oh my goodness. Can't kill Groot. He's the star of the show.
Yeah, well, he is going to be taken down. Will be able to respawn and regenerate in a little bit.
Baby Groot's going to die. What are you talking about? Tasty bacon. Yes, Baby Groot.
That's what I said. He's going to be able to respawn and regenerate in a few seconds.
Oh, I'm trying to stay authentic to the names here. Tasty, Baby Groot and Baby Groot Part 2. Nath 2000. Let's do it.
I'm not even sure what you're getting at with that one, but either way, Nate 2000 is going to go down a little bit low thanks to those shots. Here comes Empowered.
Yeah, it's going to be Baby Groot Part 2 diving on in, but the Gauntlet's going to catch up everyone on XL. This is a lot of trouble for Cortez. Baby Groot is going to find himself having to pop a potion to survive. No fountain for another 10 seconds for them. Oh, one shot going to take down Baby Groot. And now Giffy Moore going to lock down Baby Groot Part 2. He's in a little bit of trouble here. Oblivion catching Nafe 2000, putting him to sleep. The Drifted Dog to try and find the kill. Baby Groot Part 2 dives on in, finds the kill onto Nomad Vagabond. Will he fall is the question. No, just about walks away with his life. Turret falls down. XL going to secure that one, and Nave 2000 living on the edge will just about survive, but a almost 3,000 gold lead being accumulated at this point for XL.
This is looking really good for XL, but now 90 degrees.
Oh, wow. It's going to be Bongma Boo trading his life.
I don't think Cortez realized just how low Nafe was, because Cortez could have easily gotten himself a double kill there if he had gone a little bit aggressive. However, it is going to be a kill going the way of 90 degrees, but as you mentioned, they lost out on their turret, and this gold lead starting to pick up a little bit for the side of XL.
Yeah, it certainly is, and now we'll have to see if 90 degrees really have anything in the tank at this point. It seems like the Groots haven't quite found the synergy necessary to make their composition work. We do see a Tenjibo very early from Baby Groot, which is a little bit peculiar. Usually you see that as a third item on Vox, not the not an early item, not your second item, as it's not really going to provide, I feel like, as much damage as perhaps perhaps the Asura Blade or even a Breaking Point perhaps could at this point. Doesn't really pack as much of a punch as a third or fourth item on Vox, so a bit peculiar to say the least.
Yeah, definitely. A little unconventional, but either way, it's going to be the case. So we'll see how it works out. Right now, Nate's going to take a little bit of damage. That's an interesting Oblivion getting used. Puts that one minion to sleep.
Baby Groot Part 2 is going to dive in. Wait for it, going to fly on out here, but Baby Groot's in a bit of trouble. Nave 2000 popping the fountain to keep himself alive, and look at the damage that's just flying out onto the entirety of 90 degrees. The one shot not going to find a target. Everyone pretty much going back. Baby Groot actually looks like he thought he went back. Maybe he's just waiting for the minion wave to hit here. Yeah, he is.
You know, I'm just realizing this is the first time I've seen Spider Queen Kestrel in-game.
I think actually the Doom played it in VGA, or we saw it yesterday from someone else, because I definitely saw it in game either yesterday or on the weekend.
Huh, I don't recall having seen it, but those active camo traps look really cool with the skin.
Yes, they do. Really, really nice.
I saw it go down. I was like, "What is that?" Oh, and then I was, "Oh, right, that's an active camo field with the skin on." So either way, it is going to be XL continuing to try and push and build up this lead. Samuel has just gotten himself a broken myth, so that means that their damage is going to just ramp up even further. This weapon Kestrel build, though, having the Sorrow Blade double monocle, these glimmer shots are going to be absolutely devastating. Well, I mean, they already have been, but it's going to just be even more crazy burst damage, especially because there isn't a ton of armor built up just yet on the side of 90 degrees.
And that's going to be a problem, because with the crit build that comes out from this Kestrel, it just tears through the defensiveless players right now. Cortez, Mouse and Verdicts. Oh, Oblivion's going to split up the entire team. Nomad Vagabond should be able to get in there and land a nice impale. No Giffian Wall, but Baby Groot will lose his life. Fountain from Nafe was so late. Really, really late. Now, the Strip Dark, the Malice and Verdicts, and the Glimmer Shots, this turret will not stand a chance. Baby Groot Part 2 tries to go in, but will get impaled for his troubles. Oh, huge Giffian Wall stops the gauntlet and secures the kill for this team, and it looks like Nafe is going to go down. A double for Bongma Boo. Not an ace just quite, as Baby Groot had just respawned, but it should be this turret falling without a hitch for XL, and they could even go for the kill onto Baby Groot as well. One shot, won't find the kill. does look like XL are going to respect the death time as being low as they are at this 12-minute mark.
And this is just XL absolutely controlling this game, getting themselves up to 7,000 gold almost in the lead. And like you said, just really kind of taking whatever they feel like at this stage of the game. They have so much damage, and this lance play from Nomad Vagabond is doing a really good job at shutting down the attempts of 90 Degrees to try and re-engage onto these fights. Even when they get a little bit of damage, it just seems like they'll try and go all in and then just get stunned up or rooted in place, and it allows Cortez and Bongmabu to get the massive amounts of damage responded onto them.
And at 90 Degrees don't really have much of an answer for any of this. Nafe using these gauntlets always defensively and very late. The fountains as well coming out pretty late as well. Nafe 2000 is going to take a bit of poke, but it's going to be Baby Groot Part 2 diving on in. Active Camo trap is there, and it looks like Baby Groot is just about to dodge it. Good usage of the reflex block on a dodge on out. It's a chance now. Active Camo, oh, it doesn't connect onto this, but it's going to be Cortez singling out this Fox. Now has to try and escape. Baby Groot Part 2. Oh, the one shot comes in and saves the life of Cortez from by Bongmabu. They're looking to just take down this Crystal Sentry pretty simply there. Nafe 2000 could provide a bit of a hassle for the team, and so won't be a push coming out of XL, but these team fights have been pretty adventurous from them.
11-2 on the scoreboard as this lead is further increased now, and it really feels like XL are in full control, fully in the driver's seat of this game, and they're just continuing to do a really good job of making sure that their carries get all of this gold, constantly having Nomad Vagabond up on the front lines just to distract, provide a little bit of extra vision, while Bongbu and Cortez clear out the jungle as a duo. They're going to even go ahead and take this gold miner. No contest from the side of 90 Degrees. We're about 40 seconds away from Kraken spawning, and they're finding another fight.
Going to be Nafe going down very low, but the gauntlet will be going down. Bongmabu caught in the walls, and he's in a bit of trouble as it's going to be Taka diving on in. Active Camo is going to stun him up. Everyone's going very low, and it's just going to be kills all over as that's a double for Bongmabu. Nafe 2000 is just going to lose his life. A triple for XL. Cortez, Bongmabu left alive with the ace buff minions.
And with those ace buff minions, we'll see how much work they can get done. Bongbu's going to go ahead and solo out the Crystal Sentry. No issues there. This choke point turret is going to fall for sure. And with the two damage dealers, look how quickly that gets taken out.
It's pretty simple. Crit plus turrets equals goodbye turrets. It's a nice, simple mathematic equation there, Tasty Bacon.
Yep. Pretty straightforward.
That time I got it right. That equation. I'm happy.
I believe so. I believe you have drastically improved your mental math over the course of the last 20 minutes.
It's good, man. Good.
15 and a half minutes in, XL has themselves a massive lead at this point. See if they look for another fight. They're going to get some damage. Not quite going to land an impale there. And Vagabond was just hoping that there's a target on that corner of the tri-brush, which is a pretty likely guess to make. However, they're just going to go ahead and say, well, we aren't really feeling threatened by our opponents, so we're going to go ahead and start off this Kraken.
Yeah, and there's just no contest at all. They're going to channel up the lane, and then they're going to raise the Kraken's been taken. They go for a fight here. They're going to be spotted if they do. That's a lot of damage already been channeled down. Baby Creep Part 2 dives on in. Oblivion goes out, and it's just going to be XL looking to try and turn this around. Gauntlet separates the team, and Nomad Vagabond stuck on in it, but he's not really a priority target. It's just providing a bit of distance for the side of 90 Degrees. Nafe blocks up that one shot. Fountain's going to be popped, and the re-engage coming out from the side of 90 Degrees, but a Fountain to counter, and Nafe 2000 looking very precarious. An auto attack would find the kill. Ridiculous stuff from Nomad, from Bongmabu as he goes 12-1-3 on this crit Kestrel, finishing his weapon power build with a Tornado Trigger. This Kraken starting to lose a bit of its life. The two carries trying to chunk it down, but it is just a matter of time before XL move on in and try and finish this game off. Have to be particularly careful, Cortez. with the block. Could give him more, saves the life, and will Baby Groot Part 2 lose his? No, he won't. So this Kraken only going to realistically find one turret, but it's just a matter of time at this point for XL to find the team fight they need and finish the game.
Yeah, a little bit surprised that they didn't play that team fight a little bit better, given the way that this game has been going. But like you mentioned, it is just one turret left. They have yet to lose a turret of their own, so XL still very much have this as their game to lose. They just clear out the jungle, going to be recalling, topping up these infusions, and you got to figure topping up these infusions. Cortez actually a little bit shy of being able to do so after buying that Eve of Harvest, but that is going to make him that much more difficult to kill. He's already sitting on a 3-0-9 scoreline, so it's been tough enough, and now he's just going to be even more durable, as looks like members of XL are going to start pushing up this lane, and really they can try and look for a fight wherever they want. They have vision of their opponents. They know where they are. They're going to start rotating down. 90 degrees is going to get recalled out to safety, so they don't have to worry about the game ending just yet.
10,000 gold, man. Pretty disgusting stuff coming out of this revamped XL roster. Nath going to run straight into the side of XL, and are they going to go for a team fight here, try and force something? Stick together, let's team fight, let's go, says Nath, and the gauntlet will catch down Bongma Boo. Looks like they might be able to get Bongma Boo down for now, and he actually will lose his life. Baby Groot finds the kill, and it's just Cortez left to try and do the work as they all dive on top of him. But look at the sustain in this Malazan verdict. Nath 2000, he just about loses his life. In fact, Cortez looking for a triple kill, but without the Drifting Dark, there is no health to be given. And the shutdown will come through towards the end. Nomad Vagabond, a prediction play will find Nath 2000. Now he has to be careful that he doesn't just lose his life to Baby Groot Part 2, who's coming in to finish the job. Jumps on in, the mortal wounds should do it. No energy, in fact. Baby Groot Part 2 can't finish up.
Somehow, it seems like 90 degrees are able to find a team fight here. Their first team fight win of the game. And it couldn't come at a more clutch time. I mean, this is when you need to really step up. Otherwise, the game would be going over to XL. However, still not able to take that first turret down. So not able to get that objective gold that is so important to trying to get yourself back into this game. Vagabond going to load up on Vision once more and start dropping it all over the middle of the map. We'll see if they try and find another fight, try and force something here. The Crystal Sentry not available, so they can just freely move through this jungle. They're going to get another route.
Nath does go down a little bit. And wait for it's going to be used quite early on into the fight. So many engaged potentials still there for XL, and now's a good time to really force something. Baby Groot says, going back to base. What does he pick up for himself? An infusion. At this point, it's just Nath lacking the gold to buy his own, as a Baby Groot Part 2 will refresh Crystal. Almost 21 minutes now, and XL just looking for an engage. That's going to be Nomad going in. Oh, 3-man Impale into the Oblivion, does get blocked. Gauntlet may be able to separate the fight as Nath's going to continue charging forward. Bongma Boo gets the distance necessary to survive for now, as Nath 2000 going to lose his life to Bongma Boo. Baby Groot Part 2 and Impale over the wall catches him, and that's going to be Bongma Boo looking for the finishing kill with an auto attack or a glimmer shot, wherever it may be. It's going to be him just running straight into this, and jumps are pretty nice. Can Nomad Vagabond finish the job? The one shot, he dodges it all. Pretty impressive stuff from this Baby Groot Part 2, but unfortunately his brethren will lose his life to Cortez, and now Cortez can just look to try and finish the game whilst his teammates keep this Tucker at bay. Trying to port back, but Nomad Vagabond will stop it. This will be XL finishing the game as we speak. Pretty clean for them, a couple of errors towards the end, Tasty Bacon, but it's not nothing to really shake your head at.
Yeah, overall a very dominant performance from XL. They got themselves a huge lead in the early to mid game, and like I said, faltered a little bit there towards the end, but was never really in any doubt. They didn't lose a single turret throughout the duration of that game, and able to claim victory in game number 1 over 90 degrees, now just one game away from being able to move on and stay in the winner's bracket.
And a Scoundrel, this was always going to be a pretty difficult match, I think, for 90 Degrees, considering the fact that XL are a fourth-seeded team in VGL, very strong roster quite at the moment. What would you say was perhaps some of the issues with their playing of the composition? Because I don't think their composition was particularly the problem, but perhaps more the execution.
I mean, Taka's designed specifically to get a lot of pressure onto a Samuel early on. I didn't think they capitalized on that early aggression that they managed to rebut from XL. A lot of the games can be won at the early game. If you just manage to get, a couple of steals here and there. Arden stole both healing Treants, his own, which they were defending, and also the Elder Treant, but they backed off. They didn't choose to take that any further. It is scary to face a Kestrel early on, as well as a Samuel at level 2, but they might have been able to abuse level advantage that they took in that situation. So yeah, I think there was a lot of things that they could have achieved there, but realistically, it just came down to not running off that early game.
I think that early game is always a big problem, and you saw Bongmabu just got so fed in the process of it when the Kestrel gets that far ahead, and when Cortez on his Samuel is being such a threat as well, makes the target selection for the Tucker particularly difficult.
Absolutely. I think, again, draft-wise, it was fine. I think the Tucker into the Samuel was a good pick. You had the Vox there as well. It was a pretty strong draft, but you have to be able to use that Tucker post level 6 to start putting on pressure. But XL had all of the pressure from that point onwards, and when Tucker isn't able to get diving to the back line, I think Nomad Vagabond was really, really, really good on this game. I mean, countless times he knocked Tucker out of an off the back of an X-Retso into the wall and got a stun. He cancelled a couple of gauntlets. I think Nomad Vagabond was a real key to the victory here for XL, but they played very well despite some of the early game losses they took. That Elder Treant that they lost at level 1 could have been devastating if if 90 Degrees had pushed that advantage, but they didn't. They let XL get away with it. They let XL make an invade. XL didn't get anything from the invade. They stole the Elder Treant, and they let them get away with it.
Now, moving forward, it's really difficult to kind of analyze and perhaps break down what we want to see come out of this draft here for 90 Degrees, because, like we both agree, the draft from them was strong. It was perhaps the execution that needed work upon.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the key. We are into draft now. Again, same bands, very similar bands that we've seen all the time on this update. First pick will now be over in 90 Degrees side, however, and they're going to get the Lance. They're going to take that away from Nomad Vagabond.
Arden will be the response, it seems. Tasty Bacon, and Vox actually going to be taken by XL as well, so seemingly swapping compositions a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of a side swap, so we'll see how it works out. I always love to see a team pick the draft that their opponents just lost with and try and beat them with it. It's like the ultimate of like showmanship, and at the same time a little bit of arrogance to be like, well, you just lost with this, but we're gonna beat you with it now. So it'll be interesting to see if they try and go for that. Idris is gonna come through, so that's gonna be a nice little power pick. Again, Idris has had a lot of mixed results recently. I think it really depends on the ability of the individual playing it.
Basically switching compositions almost here, just sub out that Kestrel for a Idris, and now we have Idris in lane for 90 Degrees. And obviously going to take the Samuel to the jungle as well. We know that Bongmabu is an excellent Vox player. We'll just have to see what the final pick is here for XL. This is probably going to be for Cortez in the jungle, and he's going to lock in the Sky. So we've seen him play Sky quite frequently. Cortez, a very accomplished Sky player. Again, kind of swapping over levels of compositions here, almost handing the chain between the two. And now it's time for me to hand over to Darcy and Tasty.
The thing about Samuel is you either counter him with early game aggression, Koshka Taka, things that can lock him down and destroy him, or you counter him with something that kind of equals as far as range is concerned. The only pick that I would have suggested perhaps better than a Sky in this composition would have been a Batiste, but I'm not sure how experienced Cortez is on the Batiste. Quite a new hero, and especially the new CP build that people have been prioritizing since 2.5. You really need to, it's really hard to get it, and you really need to make sure you're confident with it before you bring it into a competitive match like this.
Yeah, it is a very strong pick, but not going to be on the fold here in this game. So it is going to be that Sky instead, starting with both a crystal and weapon tier 1 item just to have a little bit quicker clear speed. Is the result that both of these captains are going to be rotating towards their opponent's side of the map. And we'll see how much success they will have at stealing away these camps. Looks like they're each going to be able to take at least one camp away from their opponents.
No, Nomad's not going to.
Never mind. Yep,
Yeah.
Baby Groot steals that.
Nice little understanding there by Baby Groot, and actually Nomad's going to be in a little bit of trouble. Has to use the Vanguard to escape. Baby Groot Part 2, the Samuel, skipped his doubles at the back to secure the middle treant.
Yeah, and you got to assume that they saw the Arden moving into their jungle, and so very heads-up play by the side of 90 degrees to recognize what was going on and adjust to it. That is going to be Cortez taking that Ancient Treant, though, and now maybe looking for a kill.
Yeah, Baby Groot's going very low here, but so is Nomad Vagabond. Cortez going to have to sub on in and make sure he's the one taking the brunt of the damage. That is going to be the first blood going over to this guy. Baby Groot rotates over very quickly, and you can see Bongmabu directly behind Cortez, looking for a second onto Nathan. He's going to find it for himself. Now it is just Baby Groot. Bongmabu chasing him on down, and Baby Groot going to attempt to heal off the lane, but a very nice start here from XL again.
And then Cortez able to take that Treant to even up the jungle once again, and actually a slight edge because the first blood and an extra kill went over to Cortez and the Ancient Treant. So Cortez is going to be in a very, very good spot with this Crystal Sky. The moment they goes back to shop, it is going to get so much strength added onto this hero.
Yeah, no, and that's what we expect is because of this early game spike that Cortez has got, the Samuel perhaps will be a little bit outclassed in the early game damage. Certainly one way to counter Samuel is with a similar type of hero who can kind of do the same job, and Cortez will be very happy with his early game lead that he's accumulated. Will definitely go to some extent of keeping Baby Groot Part 2 down in the dust. See, 9 degrees in the lane, trying to put the pressure onto Bongmabu, force him to miss CS and get a bit of chip damage onto the turret. Not that they managed to do either of those two things. And now XL looking to try and turn this around. Cortez in lane, Nomad has baited them in, and Nave 2000 going to fall. No, in fact, it's going to be Baby Groot and Nave 2000 falling. They're going for the triple kill. Bongmabu's a crazy man. Will decide to turn around at the last second. That's another 2 kills going over to XL.
2 more kills, very nearly picking up an ace there is XL, but instead they're going to have to settle. Baby Groot is going to go very low to that Treant. Will get the healing, though, so it should be okay. Over those doubles get stolen away. Cortez just finding advantages in this jungle, already very close to having that Frostburn as a first item. Going to start with the Ancient Treant. Should be able to take this without too much issue. Nate has a chance to steal it, but not going to get there in time.
Now, with a bit of a gold lead starting to accumulate, XL will look to try and turn an inch into a mile. We've seen them do it plenty of times before. Bongmabu finishing up some of his items here. Hasn't quite finished a full item, which is a little bit concerning. Interestingly enough, Baby Groot, this Idris, Poison Shiv first item, not very commonly seen on the Weapon Power Idris because it doesn't unlock your divergent paths. Will provide a bit of sustain, and perhaps that's what he needed to try and survive the harass that Bongmabu's been able to output on the box. Cortez, though, will be coming up to the lane to help with this siege.
It's going to be a lot of siege potential here, but it's going to get stunted a little bit. Nice Impale will slow them down pretty drastically.
Bongmabu's just more interested in CSing and pushing the lane back up. It allows all of XL to rotate if what necessary. Does seem like they got caught in the process of going down towards the shop, so we're going to exit that strategy. But a Frostburn will be picked up by Cortez, and he's going to probably make a beeline back towards the lane if the siege continues and people overgress. With this forward barrage and the Frostburn as well, the ability to lock someone down and allow Bongmabu to get nice up close and personal really dish out damage is pretty insane. And now with Bongmanbu at 1500 gold, he's going to have enough gold to finish his Sorrow Blade fairly shortly.
And once that Sorrow Blade comes out, the damage is going to ramp up pretty heavily. Already have, as we mentioned, the Frostburn on Cortez. Baby Groot does have the Poison Shiv, which is going to definitely do quite a bit of work for the Idris when it comes to trying to shut down any sustain that might get built later on by the side of XL. Fountain of Renewal finished for Nath. Nomad still a little bit away from getting that, has to find a rotation to the shop, does have the gold for it, and that's exactly what they're likely to do, although they're leaving Nomad in the lane just to soak up, make sure this lane doesn't crash into the turret. And so Nomad's going to be a little ways off still from being able to pick up that fountain.
Bit of damage onto this turret though. A lot of damage, in fact. This is XL allowing 90 degrees to get a lot of damage down just so that Bongmanbu could finish the Sorrow Blade. But now with the Sorrow Blade finished, you would expect XL want to fight. Try and find an engage onto Baby Groot, probably the easiest target to lock down. But Fountain now picked up as well. There's no disadvantages here, and Cortez can lay down a bit of poke damage like this. It's going to make the job a little bit easier. Here comes No Bad Vagabond. Bongmanbu starting to get a little bit aggressive as he pushes the wave down, and there's the forward barrage chipping away at Baby Groot down to half HP. Oblivion thrown out very randomly, doesn't catch anyone. There's going to be drifting dark with the Malice Verdict to do a lot of damage, but this is a huge death from above. The silence comes out, not before the fountain won't stop that from coming through, but XL have chipped everyone down to very low. They're going to move towards the jungle now and try and pressure down this Samuel as much as possible. Cortez just looking to try and body block, and it is going to be Bongmanbu securing the healing from that camp.
Well, 90 degrees fighting a little bit better here through the, after the first 3 minutes or so. They've been able to find a little more opportunities, really doing a good job of pushing up into this lane and taking advantage of rotations from XL to get chip damage onto this turret. It's very, very low now, but I feel like they could have committed and taken it down there, but they didn't know where Cortez was and didn't want to take the risk. So turret will remain standing a little bit longer. However, this is a 2,000 gold lead that XL have built up despite all of this pressure on the lane.
With a 2,000 gold lead now, you're starting to see the differences pop up. XL at 7.5 minutes starting to infuse up level 7, level 8, so that they can take a fight around the gauntlet becoming available very shortly, level 6 on this Arden about to tick over. There it is. Will they go? It's immediately for the engage is the question. Nomad has taken a lot of damage in the process, does have an Iron Guard contract which will provide a bit of healing. They stick around, get some of the last hits going. You should be careful though now if you are 90 degrees, because the gauntlet just changes the dynamics of a team fight.
Yeah, I think they would have liked to have gone in right as the gauntlet became available, but Nomad was just a little bit too low, going to continue to get poked down. Because even though the gauntlet is a game changer, if your health is so low that you just die as soon as it lands, it's not really going to be that much of an effective tool. So rotation down, some more items getting picked up. Poison Shiv for Bongmanbu and a Crucible for Nomad. So they're going to be feeling pretty happy about their item spikes. Over on the other side, Baby Groot also has the similar item spike though. So both teams should be feeling fairly confident. It's just a matter of if they actually want to try and pull the trigger or not.
The main difference is that there is a weapon power infusion for Bongmanbu. Oblivion goes out, it doesn't connect. Impale doesn't connect, that's a gauntlet going down and everyone's trapped inside it. Baby Groot is going to have to try and use that Shimmer Strike, but it's not going to work. Baby Groot part 2 now is into the middle of everyone, and oh my gosh, the ace to destruction. XL, they were just children, and you killed them all.
Well, that is going to be that ace, and it just looks like XL has the advantage when it comes to actually team fighting and the rotational play in this game. There was a lot of good pressure from the side of 90 degrees, but they weren't able to ever capitalize on the amount of pressure they got, and so they lose out on not only a turret, but also an immense gold payout from the gold miner. And just like that, this gold lead has shot up to about 4,000 gold in favor of XL.
Yeah, huge execution with the infusions, with the gauntlet. It's exactly what we expected. They are going to let their tower slip, though. Baby Group throws a stray Chakram over and secures a bit of gold back. It is still a 3,500 gold deficit at this point, and it is a bit of a worry for 90 degrees as they are falling behind. Looks like Bongma Bu working towards even more damage now as he has that heavy steel in his inventory. Very likely going to build towards the Serpent's Mask, it seems, for the Ultra Sustain. We'll have to see. Could also be a breaking point, I believe, as well.
Breaking point, I think, would actually be a pretty good option for Bongmabu. Vox is a little bit more of that scaling, sustained damage, and so it makes a lot of sense to me. But they could also go for, like I said, the Serpent's Mask, just try and sustain, try and stay alive for so long because they know that there's going to be a lot of sustain on the side of 90 degrees. But here we go.
Yeah, it's going to be a fight breaking out, but the Gauntlet's just going to catch everyone down, wait for it, flies forward, and silences down Nafe. No fountain going to be thrown out. Baby Group Part 2 doing his best to escape the Drifting Dark, the Madison Verdicts. They do so much work, and Nomad Vagabond is very low, but held onto his fountain, so he's got his Life Spring, and he can heal it right back up. The only reason that I would expect it to be a sustained build from Bongma Bu is he's up against a Samuel and an Idris. Like to get up in your face, throw out a lot of damage, and you want to be pretty close to the action, so could provide the ability to stick in the fight for longer as everyone gets pretty close on, especially the Idris on top of him. But a breaking point's also very good as well in this situation. So it's either or at this point. Cortez has a broken myth now and should be going towards the Eve of Harvest next. If you look at Baby Groot, he has actually finished his weapon power build. That's a big impale, that's a huge Giffian's War, but look at the damage that Cortez is putting out. He's up to 4 broken myth stacks. Bongma Bu, though, a little bit too far forward, but no, never mind. It is just going to be the kill going over. Cortez trying to finish the job. Man, Baby Groot actually escapes. That's where a bit of sustain would have been nice. He's going to actually be breaking point, though. Not sure I agree with the decision, but we will give it over. Looks like an ace is going to come through as Baby Groot tries to escape, but it's just auto attacks. You can't escape auto attacks.
Excellent job by the side of XL to take advantage. It was a really nice engage from the side of 90 degrees, but just not in a great location. The Crystal Sentry got involved, and once Cortez started throwing down that forward barrage and there was nowhere for the members of 90 degrees to run to, they started absolutely melting. And so it's again the advantageous item builds because of how much this gold lead is, on also having those infusions really starting to pay off for the side of XL as they have an 11-2 kill lead, and perhaps going to look for a little bit more as we hit the 13-minute mark. Gold Miner is almost another full payout, so both teams going to be pretty interested in trying to pick up that chunk of gold for themselves.
Now, looks like a bit of movement from 90 degrees. Perhaps just looking to get some extra items to really secure a fight. You see Baby Groot has himself an infusion there, but Samuel doesn't have one of his own at this point. Baby Bongma Bu, he's ticking away, and Cortez is going to finish one. Oh, finish the Eve of Harvest as we speak. Minute left though, Tasty Bacon, and we have the Kraken will be joining us. So this is becoming a bit of an interesting part into the game.
Yeah, definitely is. We're just under a minute away from that big objective spawning. And obviously, XL have got to be feeling pretty good about their chances. They've been winning pretty much every team fight that has taken place on the Fold. And it's not really looking like there's much opportunity for 90 degrees to change that unless they get a really strong engage and can just blow up one of these targets right off the bat. Nice gauntlet, though.
Huge gauntlet, and the silence to follow. It's going to be the Oblivion trying to stop it, but it's not going to do enough just yet. Baby Groot trying to get on top of this Vox, and it's just going to go down. The damage is there. This tension blows up. Now we'll have to see whether or not Cortez can finish the job. The death from above goes out to split up 90 degrees, but he's walking into Malice and Vertex, and they're going to reunite. Impale, double. That is a mistake, because they just walked into their own deaths. And Nomad Vagabond, there's nothing for him to do but accept that his fate is nigh. Impale, Giffian War, it is done right here. And Ace going to come through for 90 degrees.
And that's exactly what 90 degrees needed. They get the ace. Kraken is up. They're going to go ahead and start this off. This is going to be a bit risky because it's not going to be a very quick Kraken take until Baby Groot gets there to join in. And Bongaboo and Cortez will both be up as well. Bongaboo already making their way over. Cortez is a long distance away. Kraken is almost taken. Bongaboo's going to be waiting in the wings. Will they go for the steal? Here we go.
Oh, very close by Bongaboo, but he's just going to give up his own life, it seems. The Impale will secure it. And then it comes back to this breaking point, man. Genuinely, I think a Serpent's Mask and a different result in this game as far as sustain in the team fights. That is neither here or there anymore, because what we need to focus on is the fact that 90 degrees have a Kraken and they're pushing it down the lane.
This is a huge opportunity for 90 degrees, as they're going to be taking this turret so quickly. Already down, now just looking for a little bit of chip damage onto their opponents so that they can continue pushing. Nice root will land on the
Baby
Cortez.
Groot jumped really far forward. He's jumping onto Cortez, but that might just be to his own demise. Nafe is trapped, and he's going to take a lot of damage. Tries to split off, but that's just going to open up the grounds for Baby Groot to fall. Fountain keeps everyone alive, and ace for XL, and all facilitated by a very aggressive move by Baby Groot.
That is a really unfortunate move. Lisa just a little bit too aggressive, not having the backup of the team. The turret still was very healthy at the time as well, and it ends up costing them. And I mean, it's not going to cost them too much, because there's not much that can be done off of an ace when Kraken is still pushing. So they get 2 turrets with that Kraken push. It does give them a net gold gain off of that sequence of events. We'll see if they can continue to build on it. If they can, I mean, we've seen them now win a team fight and be able to take an objective. If they can win another team fight once Kraken respawns, we could be seeing 90 degrees turn this one back fully around.
We'll have to see. Cannot have these over-aggressive plays from Baby Groot. Idris, very mobile. His teammates are very difficult to keep up with him. So if it is a fight breaking out, it has to be around your teammates rather than be you diving to the other side of the turret, being caught up in the middle of XL's clutches. 18 minutes, 3,000 to 4,000 gold now, and infusions purchased up here by Cortez and Bongaboo. The rest of 90 degrees have theirs ready and going. They are ticking away though, and they will disappear in a little bit. So if XL catches them before they refresh, then there will be a bit of a power shift there.
So we'll have to keep our eyes on Baby Groot as these fights start up, and looking for perhaps an opportunity, but XL is going to quickly back off of this. They know that while they do have a sizable advantage, if they make a mistake, then 90 degrees can very easily take advantage of it and turn this one back around. So Pico, or Nath 2000, going to be looking for a little bit of frontlining here, but the rest of his team is not anywhere close, so they need to back off and be careful.
They do. The Kraken's respawned. They're waiting to just get the gold to refresh these infusions. Nave 2000 and the last to do so, and he's going back to base to do that right now, I believe. He has 1,000 in his inventory, so he can get some flares and can refresh the crystal infusion for prolonged stuns on the ratio that comes with the crystal infusion. XL setting up, waiting, hoping for a trap with the gauntlet. They'd like to try and fight in these tight corridors, but you have to be careful of Nave 2000. Everyone jumps over the wall and Baby Groot's behind. He could go for a flank here, and he's looking to just run away, it seems. Wait for it flies out, but it doesn't connect onto anyone. The gauntlet, though, going to trap everyone inside. The Oblivion, though, going to provide a bit of trouble, and the gauntlet is going to be shut down because of it. Now, we'll have to see if 90 Degrees continue this chase. As looks like Baby Groot going to dive on in. Shimmer strikes onto Cortez. Cortez trying to run away, and he looks like he will just about. Fountains from both teams keeping everyone alive, but Nave 2000 going to be the target as he takes a lot of damage. Bong Ma Bu not quite able to find any auto attacks towards the end of that one, and it seems like both these teams are ready to reset. Will there be a re-engage is the question.
And very, very close team fights now coming out as we have gotten a bit later into this game. The gold has started to even up a little bit. The item builds are very, very similar in terms of overall strength. And members of 90 Degrees, they're going to want to recall here because you don't want to start off a fight with any sort of missing health. And that's exactly what they're going to do. Go back, get their HP topped off along with their energy. However, this will give a chance for XL to get the advantageous position here around Kraken once again.
20 minutes. About to tick on to 21. Baby Groot looking for 200 gold so he can refresh, get himself a weapon power infusion. And so we'll expect to see at least a minute dedicated to farming inside of 90 Degrees, whilst XL push the lane aggressively to try and get themselves map advantage. This is a big play by XL. They're going to force a fight around this tier 2 turret. Baby Groot hasn't got his infusion, which makes it a little bit disadvantageous for them, but they're going to dive in. Oh, that's a huge gauntlet. Catches both the Samuel and the Idris. Death from above flies out and pushes everyone backwards. Bong Ma Bu diving forward, dodges away from the impale, and now they're going to just try and take Nave 2000 down, and they're successful in it. That's the power of infusions right there, and fighting when you don't have them. XL forcing 90 Degrees out of position.
Yeah, forcing them out of position, and now they're going to go straight towards the Kraken. And Baby Groot Part 2, they're in a tough spot here because Baby Groot still doesn't have that infusion. It's going to have to recall, and there's no chance of them being able to interrupt this Kraken as a result of that, unless they go there immediately, but it doesn't look like it, as, yeah, this is going to be Baby Groot Part 2 recalling as well. So Kraken will be unleashed in favor of XL. And like you called it there, it was just great timing, great decision-making to make that decision to rush the turret, force the fight to come out. And unfortunately for the side of 90 Degrees, Baby Groot was not fully topped up and ready to go.
Kraken unleashed now, Tasty Bacon, and XL will be looking to try and finish this series off. A nice 2-0 for them. 90 Degrees have put up a bit of trouble in this game. Kraken crashes in onto this turret. The fusions this time are there. Everyone on equal footing once more. And Atlas from Nomad Vagabond actually finds no one, so no attack speed slows, but it's not like it really matters at this point as no one's really looking for the fight, and the Atlas will be up in just a couple of seconds. Ultimates are available here from all sides. That's going to be Nath missing an Impale and taking a bit of damage as a result of it. The turret taking a huge chunk. And the Oblivion goes out, but everyone just steps away from it. Cortez does get rooted, but a silence flies out. The gauntlet's going to go down, and it looks like it's going to be XL trying to find this fight, as it's going to just be Nomad Vagabond losing his life as he keeps the gauntlet wars going. Baby Groot Part 2 should go down to Cortez for surely. No, he does not. And Bong Ma Bu struggling to escape the clutches of Baby Groot. This is a massive throw from XL as they lose 2 members. This turret may fall, and it looks like Cortez will go with it. It looks like he's trying to escape, but Baby Groot should be able to get on top of him, and the Impale will help. The Kraken will secure at least one of the Vein Crystal turrets, but 90 Degrees live to tell the tale.
Yeah, absolutely incredible stuff. I mean, they get 2 turrets off of it, at least for the side of XL, but it definitely could have had a lot more if they had played that fight just a little bit more carefully. They were rather reckless with the way that they went in onto that. And unfortunately for the side of XL, it may end up costing them a bit. It's not going to cost them the game, at least. They still are very much in the lead, but the members of 90 Degrees taking advantage of the opportunity, clearing out some of the opponent's jungle, getting that sentry down, at least temporarily, as it's only the first time they're able to take down that sentry. But we are very likely going to be seeing this game wait for the next Kraken to spawn.
Wonder what 90 Degrees need to do now. they were to be able to take back control. Feels like the Kraken, quite literally the center point of this game, in map and in being right now. As XL have shown consistently that their engagers and their timings can be really good. However, 90 degrees, they're not ready to drop into the elimination bracket just yet. And Baby Groot has been putting consistent damage down onto both Cortez and Bongma Bu and causing a lot of trouble.
Here we go. This could be it.
Gonna fall in. Fountain flies out really early. I think Nomad used that by mistake, aiming for the Atlas, but pops the Fountain instead. XL need to disengage this. There's no way they can continue fighting.
I'm almost wondering if 90 degrees saw that fountain go out, because you have to, like, if they saw the fountain, they would have gone very hard onto the aggression there when they really didn't. So this is going to be XL kind of getting away with one a little bit, but members of 90 degrees looks like they want to try and force XL back to base, and so that they can maybe start up this Kraken, but this is so risky now. 20 seconds still before that fountain will be available from XL. They are recalling.
This the Fountain will be up before a fight breaks out.
At this point, yeah. So they definitely got away with one there.
Yeah. It was an attempt of an Atlas. You pop the Atlas and then jump with the Vanguard at the same time, and when you arrive at your location with the Vanguard, the Atlas just about pops, and so it's like a surprise Atlas. As it turned out, it was a surprise Fountain for Nomad Vagabond. But XL waited out patiently, and 90 degrees likely didn't see it. Good impale, they're going to connect onto it. The Fountain will be used this time in use to keep Cortez alive. And the Gauntlet Wall is keeping everyone at bay. A Death from Above doing damage as well. Here comes the Idris trying to find a target, but is forced back. It's the Nafe charging on in with an impale, but missing out. Baby Group Part 2, nice and healthy on this Samuel. Trying to find a key target, but it looks like he's going to go down very low to Cortez and his Happy Feet. XL, though, not finding any kills, and everyone on both teams starting to look very low as far as HP is concerned. Fusion's refreshed. XL charging forward. Nomad with the Atlas onto this Idris, and they're charging to get the Samuel. They get him. Shimmer strike onto Bongma Bu. It is going to be a kill traded back. Cortez now has to lay down the damage, and that's not going to be the forward barrage he needs. This could open up an ace, a triple kill for Baby Groot. That's going to be the first, and he's looking for the second. Baby Groot should have this done, and with an impale coming through, it will be Nomad Vagabond going down for a triple overtime. An ace comes out for the side of 90 degrees, and this could actually just be the game. They're going to charge straight down the lane.
30 seconds.
40 seconds, yeah. On the death time is 30. On Bongma Bu, I don't think there's any way they respawn in time.
No, not at all. Not with the Ace Buff minions getting in here and stripping the barrier off of these turrets. Baby Groot has too much damage, and 90 degrees have just pulled a 180 on this series, and we are going to a game number 3. Unless Bongma Bu, it makes a miraculous play, but it's not going to happen.
That's what happens. 290s is a 180 tasty, and now the reverse is there. The only problem is that you add another 90 to it, and it isn't quite the full circle just yet. So maybe that is exactly what they need to be able to keep a reverse sweep in their cards. XL, though, they're going to be having their heads hanged at this point, in upset that they let this game get out of control, because for the most part, it was theirs for the taking.
Oh, completely agree. I think they made some catastrophic errors at the end there, especially Nomad. I think went a little bit too aggressive. Nomad went a little bit too aggressive to try and force that last fight, if I'm honest, and I think XL could have been doing far better. I think Cortez was absolutely ridiculously good at the start of the game, and he just felt some of those forward barrages were slightly off target towards the end. Maybe the pressure of the situation getting to him, not quite able to land them with the pinpoint precision that he was at the start of the game. Tiny errors for XL crept in, and 90 degrees capitalised so well, and showing the power of weapon power Idris as well, Darcy.
For sure, and I am super happy that we saw Baby Groot consistently target down Bongma Bu. He just didn't have the sustain to deal with face tanking the Idris. I feel like the breaking point, and I've said it, it was not the most optimal item in this game for the Vox. It just didn't quite. You either sub out the breaking point, you sub out the Sorrow Blade for a Serpent's Mask, but you needed the sustain, because when Idris is face diving you, you just can't help it. Oh, also, I'm a little bit concerned about the Atlas for Bongma Bu. With the nerfs to Atlas, and considering he is the Vox, I understand that you can pop it onto the Idris because he's jumping onto you, but I think perhaps a bit more survivability from a Metal Jacket could have kept him alive.
Okay, well, both teams are ready, so we're going to jump straight into the draft phase here. This will be, I did say in a fly-in, you guys might have saw it, that we were considering a final game of the day between Team Queso and Team Midgets. That will not be the case now, because we've gone to a third game of this series, and that means we are now going to be going well beyond time of that sort of starting time for those guys, and we don't want them to be playing too late into the evening, so this will be our last game of the day, because this has gone to a full-length series. We assumed that given the way the game was going, it might go to a 2-0 for XL, but the comeback from 90 degrees means we are now at a 1-1.
Yeah, you have to remember, though it might be 8 o'clock here in the UK, other parts of Europe, it's 9 o'clock or even 10 o'clock if you live in that far east. So, obviously, not going to keep people up past an ungodly hour. Wow, look at this. Idris banned by XL, and they secure themselves Grumpjaw. Very nice draft there from XL.
Yeah, they're going to get the Grumpjaw. I know that Nomad Vagabond likes to play Grumpjaw in the captain position, so don't necessarily assume that this is going to go into the jungle. There's going to be a Sky and a Finn, though, two pretty good picks into the Grumpjaw.
It is. I do think Sky can be a little bit vulnerable if you are able to get on top. It just depends on if this is going to be Cortez on the Grumpjaw or if it is going to be the Captain Grumpjaw, like you mentioned. I'm interested to see what XL prioritize here.
Wow.
A Celeste coming out, so this could even be a weapon-powered jungle Grumpjaw for XL. We'll just have to find out. Unlikely. You would expect it would be Bongma Bu to pick it, but perhaps they want to finalize. A glaive comes through. It could literally be anything. Anyone could go anywhere, X-Scoundrel.
They absolutely could, Dowsey. This has been it's been an interesting draft phase so far with the Grumpjaw locked in. I'm assuming that this is going to be a lane. I don't know, actually. I know that Cortez likes to play
lane Idris or lane Celeste.
Lane Celeste. I know that Cortez likes to play Celeste in the jungle, but maybe Bongma Bu wants to get his hands on that. Cortez is going to be taking a weapon-powered glaive. They're going to be looking to put pressure on early. But this is a very interesting draft between these two teams when it matters most. 1-1 at this point in time as we head into our third game of this series.
There we go. It is going to be the lane Celeste. Cortez playing a weapon-powered glaive in the jungle, and Nomad Vagabond taking the Grumpjaw.
I want to say as expected, but it's not really. You didn't necessarily know what to expect.
There was like 4 different possibilities, I guess, with the draft. They could have put people in so many different places. So this is a nice orientation. It just really kind of relies on Bongma Bu to stay safe on this Sky, on this Celeste even.
Well, it also required Baby Groot Part 2 to stay safe on the Sky. So it's really going to be an interesting game number 3 here. We have on our hands decisive to see who will be staying in the winners bracket, who will be dropping down to the elimination bracket. And we touched on it very briefly last series about how important staying in the winners bracket is. If you win this game and continue to win, it only takes 2 additional wins from this point, series wins, in order to get yourself into the challenge battles. Whereas if you drop to the elimination bracket off of this game, you need to win 6 series to get yourself into the challenge battles. So that's how much of a difference winning at this stage of the event makes.
Yeah, huge, absolutely. And for both these teams, it's not like they want that big slugfest. 3 times the work, no thank you. Going to be really putting up their A game here. First Finn I think we've seen today coming out for Nafe. Played a variety of heroes so far. Baby Groot just currently sitting in this bush, looking to try and contest from afar as the forward barrage will fly out, but good usage to block up the possibility by dragging it behind Cortez, and he was happy to take a bit of poking because he would get the healing anyway. Now, we'll have to see whether or not this weapon-powered glaive can be a pick that we've seen so much success, I think, Tasty in VGA, perhaps lack of execution in Challenger Series.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be the case thus far, at least. But we'll see if it'll work now. Nomad Vagabond gonna be just holding this lane while his 2 carries go and clear out the jungle together. So getting a lot of gold onto Bong Mabu on the Celeste. Cortez gonna make a rotation up as well, but this is right as soon as 90 Degrees has rotated out of the lane, so they're not gonna find any opportunities to make the play happen.
And considering the composition from XL, it's very unlikely they're going to make too many aggressive plays. Apart from lane ganks here, and you can see Cortez has managed to sneak himself up into the upmost bush. It's a bit of a surprise. XL are going to try and bait out some aggression, perhaps from Baby Group Part 2 here, as they know he's just walked into the lane, and they're going to feel very comfortable. Cortez can get in position. Yes, he can. That's going to be an afterburn, knocking this guy into the wall, but not backwards. And actually, Bong Mabu's in a lot of trouble. Vagabond, can he escape? Oh, Bong Mabu falls as well. Don't know how. Seemed like it was a minion that killed him. I didn't think Baby Group was that close. And XL going to give up first blood.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like it was going to be Bong Mamu that got out and Nomad Vagabond that ended up going down, but it's the exact opposite. As well, now Cortez in some trouble.
Cortez is. Looks like he should be fine. Baby Groot 2 trying to steal away this Treant. Core Collapse stuns it. Vagabond jumps over, but it is going to go over to the sky nonetheless. 90 Degrees. I think this is the first time we've seen them this series put up aggressive moves in the early game, and they are rewarding themselves with a substantial gold chunk from it. Roughly 1,000 as they start clearing some of these camps, and stealing all these backs away is just going to put Cortez behind.
Yeah, that was, I mean, this gold lead that they've picked up here is pretty nice. Baby Groot's going to take a bit of damage. However, we'll see if they can continue to make this pressure work out for them. They didn't really get any damage on the turret despite that last little push that they had, which is a little bit surprising. But obviously, 90 Degrees, team that was playing off the back foot in games 1 and 2. It's got to be refreshing for them to have a little bit of a lead here in game number 3.
Very refreshing indeed. It's all about what they can make of it. Still feel XL happy to play from behind a little bit, or perhaps happy to scale up the Celeste, get her to a late game spot. Poison Shift though completed now for the Vox of Baby Groot. Bong Mabu's finishing his Frostburn as well. The Tension Bow on Cortez should be completed very shortly. A bit away from that. And there it is. So, some crucial item spikes in favor of XL actually, as Baby Groot hasn't gone back and finished his own Frostburn, and unfortunately Cortez not quite knocking the box backwards means that the Fox will be okay for now.
And Tension Bow also completed for Cortez. It's going to be a lot of damage coming out if they can get that afterburn in the right direction. It's definitely been a common issue on Glaives thus far today, Dowsy, but obviously Cortez, you assume, will be able to hit a few of those a little bit later on and able to set up some plays for the team. They're looking right now, 90 Degrees have just Nomad Vagabond kind of stuck here, able to get a little bit of damage, but now they want to rotate and find Cortez.
Yeah, Cortez, will he be alright? Looks like he's fine. I kind of feel like the power of Glaive right now to Tasty Bacon is that a lot of teams are hiding him in plain sight, being the lane. Something mentally happens when you play against a lane Glaive. You kind of forget that he's Glaive, and that he can afterburn you, because he's there. He's right in front of you. He doesn't look scary. He's not hiding in a bush like Cortez right now. Perhaps that might be the thing. Nomad Vagabond can land some slows with his Hangry though. And that's going to make Cortez's life a little bit easier, especially when the core collapses start flying out. Level 8, level 9 for Bong Mabu, a crucial point in this game, something that Celeste will be really wishing she had right now.
Yeah, everyone's starting to hit these level 6s, starting to get these ultimates. Will be interesting when Forced Accord and Wait For It start getting thrown out as well. Some big combo opportunities for the side of 90 Degrees, but this is an interesting situation to find themselves in, but doesn't look like XL really minds too much that they all just sort of ran into each other for a little bit there. It's going to be a tension bow for Baby Groot to add on to the damage. So both of these weapon power heroes going to have that tension bow proc available to them when these fights start up. However, Frostburns for both crystal power carries as well. It's fairly similar builds, fairly similar ideas behind these compositions.
The only difference is that XL are actively trying to get Bongma Bu towards the overdriven helogenesis state as quickly as possible. You see that Bongma Bu consistently rotating towards the backs and sharing experience in gold with Cortez. It does mean that Cortez is falling behind experience Baby Groot by about a whole level right now. He's going to hit level 7 and bridge the gap a little bit. The tension bow build very cheap to begin with and can provide a lot of damage, so it kind of get away with it to begin with, but oh, here we go. Nath pulls in Bongma Bu just as Baby Groot decides to back away, so unfortunate timing and communication there from 90 degrees.
To your point about the experience sharing, it does put Cortez a little bit behind Baby Groot Part 2, but it puts Bongma Bu a little bit ahead of Baby Groot in the lane, so it's the trade-off that they're willing to make. They're putting so much emphasis on Bongma Bu, on the Celeste. Getting to level 8 is such a huge deal for a Celeste that they are willing to give up the glaive a little bit.
And as soon as he does hit level 8, I reckon they'll turn around, but
combo.
oh wow, Baby Groot just walks straight in. Great spit out into the core collapse. Impressive stuff coming out of XL. That's going to be their first kill of the game, and very shortly it's going to be a turret taking a huge amount of misery. Or maybe not, XL seem to be rotating down in towards the jungle rather than attempting the turret. They're going to buy some gold up and
this is actually the right call here. They wouldn't have been able to get any damage onto that turret, really, because Baby Groot Part 2 cleared out the minions so quickly on this sky that they would have been taking turret damage if they tried to stick around. So I like the decision there to just rotate down, top up some items, and get yourself back to farming.
Well, level 8 has now been finished by Bongma Bu. Extended range on these Helo Genesis. And that's going to provide a bit of trouble for the short range that is this Vox. He won't be able to really get as close to the fight as he wanted, and he will rely on Nath 2000 and Baby Groot Part 2 to provide a bit of space. A Broken Myth also completed, and with the extended range, stacking that up may be a little bit easier. We'll have to see if Cortez now gets access to his jungle from this point onwards to try and finish the Sorrow Blade that he's working towards.
And so Baby Groot is going to go ahead and pick up in that breaking point, going to look to stack up and build up damage during these fights. Lots of damage onto Cortez as a result of that forward barrage.
Look at that burst that just happened to Baby Groot there. Just through Bongma Bu being able to throw out so much damage from range, and there's just nothing that can be returned back. Solar Storm's going to connect! Oh, it's a through! Stylish stuff from Bongma Bu! And now XL are charging forward. Oh, stuffed and lands on Nath. Not going to be able to eat up the Finn, but XL feeling very comfortable now that they've got that overdriven Helogenesis.
Oh, absolutely. Going to be able to really start making some plays happen like we just saw Bongma Bu do to Baby Groot. Helios going to also keep Sky at bay, as well as Nath, while this gold miner's getting taken down. The nice forward barrage, though, does still do a lot of damage. Nath is getting in here, tries to steal it away, not going to be successful. But now, maybe 90 degrees looking for a fight.
Yeah, it's going to be Cortez looking to escape with his afterburn there. They secure themselves the Treant for the extra healing, and Nomad Vagabond is on the safety run as well. Gold has been just evened up now through the gold miner take by XL. We're going to see everyone return back to the lane now. Nomad Vagabond has gone back, got some vision. Cortez finishes his Sora Blade, and a crucial turning point perhaps in the game for XL if they can win the next team fight.
Well, this is their opportunity to do so. They still have a pretty solid advantage when it comes to range and just flat out burst damage. Obviously, Baby Groot is going to be trying to even out that range advantage a bit, but they just do not have burst on the side of 90 degrees. So they're relying on being able to survive that initial burst that comes out of the members of XL. And as long as they can do that and they can get themselves stacked up, get those eventually the Broken Myth stacks and the Breaking Point stacks built up, then there is a chance for 90 degrees here, but being able to deal with the Celeste is going to be the difficult part of this task.
Yeah, and they really need to be landing these forward barrages to pull it into a compromising position. Nafe going to land there on the polite company. Look at the amounts of damage that Bongmabu's been able to easily stack up with the broken myth onto this Finn. And the turret now going to just continue to take a beating. The Eve of Harvest makes things so easy, and Nafe completely whiffs the forced accord there. XL now with a great chance to take this turret, cement their position in this game. Helogenesis, Supernovas, Kaboom is the answer. A death from above does connect onto Bongmabu. The silence will fall out as well. A lot of damage falling down. A fountain may need to be popped, and it is going to be popped as well. But it doesn't come for a kill for 90 degrees. XL start to fall back. Cortez looking to try and reposition a member of 90 degrees, but it does look like it is going to be Bongmabu falling back to base.
And Bong has to go back to base, but members of 90 degrees going to take advantage of the opportunity to rotate into the jungle and take away a couple of camps. They're going to get these 2 front camps. That looks like it'll be about it. This turret is so close to falling, though, in favor of XL. All they need to do is just regroup now that they've got their health back. Just go ahead and group up in the lane after they clear out their backs, and they should be able to just push in and take this turret. There isn't a lot that 90 degrees is able to do to stop that. They may be able to look for an engagement afterwards, but it's to stop this push is really a difficult task for the side of 90 degrees. They're able to get some damage if XL stays too long, but they're not going to have to stay very long at all in order to get this objective.
So just a bit of a matter of time. Water on a stone. Forced accord blocked by her Nomad Vagabonds. Crucible there. And a broken myth stacking up on this Finn. Bongmabu going to finish off this turret very shortly with Supernova, and that's going to be Nomad Vagabond stuffing up the sky. Gonna have to try and pull him out. No, he does get spat out immediately. A Quibble and Nomad Vagabond trying to escape, but he cannot. Cortez dives on in. A fountain comes out. Bongmabu gonna lay down a trap, and look at the damage that comes out. Solar Storm doesn't connect, but they're gonna turn straight onto Nafe and keep the party rolling. Baby Groot gonna fly on in. He has to be careful, and that's already the first kill. Cortez with the knockback, and that's a kill going his way. It's only the Sky left standing, but it's not going to be something XL are looking for. They are happy taking the 2-for-1.
2-for-1 and a turret going the way of XL. They're going to be very much happy about that trade. And he gets them about 1,000 gold in the lead. The turret really being the only difference in the gold values between these two teams. As we are about to hit the 15-minute mark, Kraken will be spawning onto the fold. And things are going to definitely start to pick up here.
For sure, absolutely. And XL, they are starting to show the strength that is Celeste into Vox and into Finn as well with the Broken Myth now. However, they are still very vulnerable. You can see that despite the fact that XL seemingly are controlling these team fights, great positioning from Baby Group Part 2 on this Sky and great forward barrages are still eating through the health bars. And the Poison Shiv is providing a bit of sustain for Baby Groot. The Tension Bow is providing a bit of burst when he gets those auto attacks off for the first time. As he works around the corner, has to be careful. Cortez is going to look to try and finish the job. Solar Storm could fly out. Bongmabu is just keeping his distance, but that's going to be Cortez pulled on in. They need to fight here. Where's the Solar Storm? There it is! And it's going to be Cortez picking up a kill onto the Vox. Bongmabu moving forward. Cortez looking to finish the job onto the Sky, and the Baby Groot Part 2 will find the sequel that his predecessor had already achieved. That's going to be an ace going over to XL. A double for Bongmabu, and XL looking to go and take the Kraken.
I'm going to have to go back and watch that back. I don't know if it was just a visual thing on my end, but it looked like Vagabond, when he used the stuff, actually pulled the target from back over the wall. It looked like they had jumped over the wall and the stuff pulled them right back and into the fight. That was absolutely amazing by XL. They're going to be able to unleash the Kraken onto 90 degrees as well. What a huge, huge team fight for XL. They could be looking to get a big push out. They're going to be able to guarantee at least one turret because it is so low. Very likely will get a minimum of 2 off this Kraken. We'll see if they can find a team fight as they push.
This is looking pretty good. This turret will go down without a hitch. The Kraken will hardly be touched by it. Now it is this choke point turret that is under siege by XL. Halcyon charges picked up by the box, but these Supernova's going to do so much work in this tight corridor. That's why it is called the choke point turret, and it's so hard to defend against the Celeste. Already down in the Kraken at half HP as it enters into 90 degrees base. A Crucible blocks the Forced Accord. Turret may take a beating. It's going to be a stuffed onto the box as he flies back out. Core collapse, but he blocks it up. Baby Groot trying to survive, but Cortez knocks him back to his doom. It's going to be Nafe in a bit of trouble as Bongmabu looks to finish the job. And it's only Baby Groot Part 2 to keep 90 degrees in this top bracket. He series strikes, but Cortez flies on in and knocks him away. The turret falling down and a death from above may provide some disruption, but it is going to be XL finishing the game as Cortez loses his life. Baby Groot gets tagged right down, and the Vein Crystal going to get popped as Bongmabu gets one more for the game. A 10-3, an 18-minute affair. XL progress further into the summer VGL Challenger split.
An excellent fight brought to the table from 90 degrees this series, but unfortunately for them, XL was just a little bit stronger as they are able to secure themselves a spot in the next round of the winners bracket. A great series to watch here, Dowsy.
For sure, and you know, Excoundrel, we talked to Cortez last night, and he felt like realistically their first tough opponents would be teams like Calamity Reborn once they make it to the playoffs, but by golly, this series against 90 degrees, it certainly looks like some of these tough opponents are starting to hit in this bracket stage.
Yeah, that was definitely, I think, tougher than XL were expecting. It looked like it would be a 2-0, but it was a nice sweep and return. And got to put a lot of faith in Bongmabu that game. You as Cortez, you're a guy who's carried and played carry heroes before, putting all that fire onto Bongmabu, getting behind this guy, unable to duel. They put a lot of faith in Bongmabu's Celeste, and it came on top here. Got to look at the composition from 90 degrees and say, I mean, how are you going to threaten the Celeste? If you block the hook, which is, you expect Nomad to be able to do, and if not, you expect Bongmabu to be able to do with his own reflex block. Very difficult to pressure the Celeste in a team fight because she's so well protected by both the Glaive and the Grumpjaw. And you don't really have anybody apart from the Sky who can jump into the backline easily. And if you jump the Sky into the backline, she's going to become a target instantaneously. So I think it's a very difficult, or sort of a very good composition for XL to have the Celeste in. But you sort of raise queries whether 90 degrees could have done more to pressure the Celeste with their draft.
I wonder. I think that it was a Sky last pick, I believe, from Baby Groot. Yeah, it was. And then definitely lots of question marks over whether or not the Sky was the answer to taking out Celeste. Samuel open, CP Blackfeather open. I think that you're right there, Scoundrel. They possibly could have threatened Bongmabu earlier on in the game.
Absolutely. Sorry, I was just updating our overlays ready for what is going to be a Blitz tournament tomorrow. So we've got a big Blitz tournament coming your way tomorrow, guys. This has been everything from today. We've only had 2 series, believe it or not. 2 series across 3 hours. So we had a really long first series of the day between Waves and Memento Mori. And then XL Esports took on 90 degrees, as you just saw. And that was a 2-1 to XL Esports. Very, very, very good series between these two teams. And a really, really good day of action here at the VGL Challenger Series Summer Split 1. We're going to be back with the Challenger Series next week on Tuesday. We're back at the same time, 6 o'clock CET, 1800 CET. But tomorrow, we have more VGL action coming away. Something a little bit more light-hearted. It is going to be the Blitz tournament with special rules, talents enabled, and all of that goodness ready to go. Dalsy will be hosting it, and myself and Tasty Bacon will be casting tomorrow. So a change of the guard, if you will, for our Blitz tournament. So that's everything from us here today at VGL. Thank you so much for watching. It's been 2 really action-packed series. Usually we do 3, like we said, but we had 2 long series here on the final day of this week. Make sure you check out VGL's channel tomorrow, Vainglory League, twitch.tv// Vainglory League, for all of your Blitz action. It's going to be a really fun tournament to watch. Obviously, loads of action, massive amounts of fights, and like we said, talents enabled. Thank you for myself, Dowsey, and also Tasty Bacon, as well as everybody behind the scenes, including all our admin staff and Blueberries. We'll be back next week with Challenger action.